What's up, everyone? Welcome to Normal America Show. Host Rob Noerr. Man, it's great to be here. Giantis is excited. I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. Man, what a pleasure it is to be alive. Good to hang out with my son and my wife. Just great. It's a fantastic day. Tomorrow, I'm very excited. We are picking my son up from school. He gets off early. This is the beginning of his Christmas break. And my mom and dad are going with us to pick him up, and then we're going to see Santa Claus and all that good stuff. So it's going to be a lot of fun. We go to this store called Crane X. It's out towards the Pennsylvania-Ohio border. About an hour and a half away from us, and it's like an old-timey toy store. My son loves it, so he's been looking forward to it for quite some time. We go out every Easter and every Christmas, so I'm thoroughly excited. Also, it was a balmy 50 degrees here today. Not too shabby. The only thing is, everything gets muddy. Like when it snows, and then it starts to melt, everything's just mud. And I have a driveway, but because we have two cars, we have to park one of them in the yard. It just makes it a muddy mess. I have a bit of a cold, but nothing too severe. I see Clan Tank says he's sick and it sucks. Yeah, I'm not like sick, but yeah, mud definitely better than black ice. For sure. But man, I'm in a very good mood today. I don't know why. I wish I was debating with someone. Hopefully some lefty calls in tonight. It'd be great. I'm trying to chum him in. I am. I saw that, Steve. They're estimating the Minnesota fraud possibly at $18 billion, and Somalia's GDP is $13 million, or $18 billion, and Somalia's GDP is $13 billion. So, I got some different stories to cover today. Tony needs a new chair. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to give out my secrets on chair procurement, you know? We need Brian Shapiro to call in. Incidentally, who sent this? This is very funny. Aqua's, fan of the show, he sends this in. Here, I'll just download it. Give me a second. And we'll upload it here. This was from last night's Timcast. I think this is funny. Not too dramatic or anything, but apparently Brian Shapiro was on Timcast last night. And Aqua's had a question for me. It takes a minute to upload the video here. Aqua's was like, why is every time Brian Shapiro on something, he's asking people to take clothes off now?
So, you know.
Will Tim ever take his hat off if I take mine off? I keep asking him.
I cannot speak for Tim Pool.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see.
I'm wearing the
here?
beanie. I had someone
I'll take
take
mine.
I was the
How about
chosen
this?
one.
I'll take mine off. You take yours. All right. Here we go.
We're not taking anything else
the
off.
final haircut.
Right?
No, nothing else is coming on. All right. What do we got
Put
here?
two of our heads together, we look like an ass.
Let's see. Dave.
He's obsessed. He's obsessed. Oh, my goodness. Brian said, I fear him. Where did he say that? I fear him so much, I booted him off the show. Oh, wait, that was him booting me off. Oh. He can think what he wants. That's all right. Thank you, Aquas, though. That made me chuckle. We're not taking other things, because if you want, I'll take my shirt off if you want. Yes, thank you, Aquas, man. It's funny. I saw that earlier today. I was like, ha! That's really funny. It made me chuckle. How long have I been streaming? Like today? 7 minutes. I think I started live streaming in 2018, if that's what you're asking. Yeah, this cold's crushing me. So I got some different stories that maybe people haven't been covering as much. First story that I wanted to talk about today, courtesy of the last time I was on the Extrava with Jake Rattlesnake, he pointed me in the direction of this story about the EU that I was unaware of. And I thought it was a very interesting story. And now we're seeing some more developments in it. So we talked a little about the EU last night and Trump freezing this tech deal with the UK because of their attempts to punish X for free speech, basically. So we'll talk about some new developments in that. And some other stories that I have. Economic data came out, worth looking at. Some other stories about Trump and Epstein. Uh-oh. Trump Epstein stories. Are you ready? Are you ready for the Trump Epstein stuff? You ready? Everybody excited? Trump Epstein? Huh? You ready? Yeah. You're right, whoever you are that's worried about this. This is the only issue that ever matters, and my entire show should be in perpetuity, me talking about Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. So if what you could do is replay this 1 minute over and over again, you can see me say Trump's really bad for how he's handling the Epstein thing, and we should criticize him with every waking breath that we ever have. Don't worry about feeding your family. Don't worry about supporting them. Don't worry about taking care of yourself whatsoever. All that matters is Trump Epstein. So will you join me in saying Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein, Trump Epstein. There you go. That's 55 seconds. The minute will be complete here soon. Please put that in replay for the rest of the show. Thank you. Hey, Trump Epstein. Trumpstein. Yeah. I should just pre-record like 50 topics like that and just be like, all right, we're going to take call-ins. And someone would be like, yeah, I was worried about like inflation. And I just have some smart ass like, oh, that's all that matters, inflation. Oh, I pay more for groceries. Oh, shut up. And that'd be it. I'll just hit the button. You know, it's smart. Now, there are stories about Trump Epstein that broke. So we'll talk a little about that. Just whip wheel business on repeat. Listen, I got to say, night shift barely hit the goal last night. So day shift had a chance. Those ugly let's be honest. Listen, we might be a bit unruly here on night shift, but at least we're handsome. Day shift is some real uggos. Even day shift Rob, if you notice the way the light hits his face, what a fat sack of shit. I'd be embarrassed to put my face on screen if I look like that asshole. Now, not this handsome gentleman. This. Yeah. This is a face for streaming right here. Not that day shift, Rob. He sucks. And the day shift audience, they're terrible. The moderators suck on day shift. Day shift avarice sucks. Black Elk sucks on day shift. Everybody. The whip songs suck. Everything's shit during the day. They couldn't even reach the dono goal. What a bunch of losers. And it starts at the top with day shift Rob. Not here on night shift. This is where it's at. This is the key. Night shift's the key. Naughty Germ thinks day shift moderation's good. I don't know. I'm not so sure. Not so sure. Day shift has no weed bugs. Is that what's going on? These people that call in on day shift, what a bunch of losers. Here's one. This guy that goes by AJ Noakes, not this AJ Noakes. Night shift AJ Noakes, brilliant. Fantastic guy. Thank you for the $10, Night shift AJ Noakes. Says weed class 3. Get houses made of hemp. Timber is money. Healthier than Tylenol. And I talk to my boys still. Active duty. 1776 delivered. For the vets. F you from the government per the norm. See, night shift AJ Noakes, awesome. The day shift guy, I don't know what he's on about. Mickey Blue Eyes Thanks so much for the membership. Says currently messaging from the delivery room. My goodness, congratulations. Amazing. Congrats, man. I'm so glad to hear it. Everything's going to go great. We'll be praying for your family. But congratulations, man. Naughty Germ, thank you as always. $5. Really appreciate it. Day shift eats beans for breakfast. They probably have brunch too. Hey, mimosa. I'm going to have a mimosa and then listen to Rob. Day shift Rob. And then I'll turn in early because I can't hack it with night shift. Those day shift losers. Terrible. They're terrible people. Anyways, we're not going to fail tonight and fail to hit the goal bar like day shift did today. We're not going to do that. We're going to plow right through the goal. We're going to go to the top. We're not pissing around. So be sure to get those donos in. It is much appreciated. Now, I was going to cover a debate tonight. I really felt like debating or reviewing a debate. I couldn't find anything that interesting. I sound like Mr. E. Uh-oh. Have you ever seen Mr. E and me in the same place? Just saying. Just saying. No. Actually, yes. Avers is muted.
I was actually trying to get you on a debate, and there was no opposition.
Oh.
I felt on the no Fugazi.
Oh. Yeah, I would have hopped on. Sure. I'm actually working on some stuff for some regular scheduled debates that I think will be neat. So hopefully I'll have more to tell you about that next week. I'm hoping. Chop. $5 says double shift's always cream of the crop. I mean, double shift's good, but day shift, pfft. Don't tell them I said they're a bunch of losers. Oh, man. Anyway, so I couldn't find any really interesting debates to review. So I was like, whatever. We'll just do a normal show. We'll get all fired up about something. Right? Why not? The Timcast episode with Brian. Unless Brian calls in, I think this channel's had enough of Brian for a while. He'll be like, oh, Rob's obsessed with me. He had to cover me on Timcast. Was Judge Dugan found guilty of obstruction of ice? Nice. Hopefully she gets life in prison. Yeah, the weed thing, I didn't look at much. So he's made it Schedule 3. I don't know. I have mixed feelings. The libertarian in me is like, yay, finally. The guy who's tired of being in public and smelling weed when I have my son with me, he's like, pfft. But for a political move, trying to get young people, I suppose. Did I see the Brown shooter update? No. What's the update on that? I'm like, I'm out of the loop. Let's see what we could find. This is from a minute ago. Eric Doherty puts out. Let's see this. Might as well cover this story. It's one I'm interested in. So obviously I haven't seen any of this. So let's hear what's.
He was a physics professor out of MIT and in the physics building, and he was studying physics. Have you tied all that up, and does that lead? Why target one person in Massachusetts and then a full class here in Providence?
Yes, it is true that Mr. Valente was a physics student. Also, we know that the MIT, the victim there, was in that discipline as well. I will tell you that there's multiple phases to an investigation. And so now, in a sense that we know the subject is deceased, now that investigation continues to find out all of those answers to your question, sir.
Did you go to school with the professor?
Now, wait. So they have a suspect, and the suspect is deceased? Officials believe the slain MIT professor and the Brown University shooting suspect went to the same school together in Portugal. So he got away from Brown and got to kill someone else barely 2 days later. Wait a minute. Wait. Whoa, I'm way out of the loop. What slain MIT professor? What's this? Is this a news story? Am I reading this right? That they think the Brown suspect killed people at Brown University, then went and killed another person at MIT? Really? And they're saying this is the... I didn't even know about this MIT thing. Now, I want to be clear. I'm about to show a picture and the name of the suspect. It is from a mainstream news outlet. It's from Fox News. But please, sometimes the initial videos or pictures and stuff could be incorrect. So I just want to say, take it with a grain of salt. But this is from Fox. It's saying, authorities have identified the suspect in Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University as Portuguese national Claudio Manuel Neves Valente. The 48-year-old was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound in New Hampshire's storage facility. Read more here. This is from just a half an hour ago. Go away, pop-ups. Authorities have identified the suspect in Saturday's mass shooting at Brown, which left 2 students dead and 9 injured. During a finals week review session, his name's Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, according to the FBI. He was found dead Thursday evening, tonight then, and authorities announced at a press briefing Thursday evening after law enforcement officers in tactical gear were seen outside a storage unit linked to him in Salem, New Hampshire, for hours. The shooting happened around 4 p.m. Saturday as a finals week study session at the Barris and Holly building on the eastern edge of campus. Now, I had seen this, their surveillance footage. Detectives initially questioned a person of interest at a hotel outside town, but ruled him out as a suspect, according to authorities. Police spent days canvassing the neighborhood for surveillance video, which turned up images of a person of interest, a masked docky figure who stood around 5 feet 8 inches tall and walked with an odd gait. Susan Constantine, a body language expert, said one key marker is how the person of interest right leg bows inward while his toes points outward as he walks. They then shared images of a second person who they said had information about the person they were seeking and asked for the public's help in identifying him. 6 of the surviving victims remain hospitalized as of Thursday afternoon in stable condition. The 2 killed were identified as Ella Cook of Alabama and Mohammed Aziz or Mozkov of Virginia. The surrounding community spent days waiting for answer. Residents on edge after the shooting. So, I didn't hear about this MIT business, though. So he wasn't a U.S. citizen. He's a Portugal citizen. MIT professor was killed 2 days after the Brown shooting. If that's true, that's horrible that because they were incapable of getting this guy quick enough, he then went and killed another person. And allegedly, he was a student of this MIT professor or was a peer of his at some point, is what I'm reading. It's a crazy story. I wonder what the possible motivations are. Now, the MIT professor, that sounds personal. What was motivations? I had heard rumors that weren't confirmed by people that I trust, Mark Halperin and others, that were saying he was hearing from sources that it was a targeted attack on Ms. I'm so sorry, I forget her name. Ella Cook, who was like one of the heads of the student Republicans there. I don't know that this guy's a Muslim. I don't know. The shooter is a Muslim? He is? The MIT professor was involved with plasma infusion. Trump media just partnered with one of the leading fusion companies. Quiet Lobster. Night Shift Lobster's fun. He loves Buc-ee's. What a mess. Look, I'm not even going to take it there. I'll leave it go for tonight. I was just going to say, we were reading, fuck it. I'll hit on it quickly. We were reading the other day and covering this story about academia, the media, entertainment industry, etc., basically blackballing white people. Enrollment for students is crazy. It's ridiculous. And it is amazing to me how many foreign enrolled students we have that aren't citizens of the United States. It's surreal to me. Even Trump, well, we need these 500,000 Chinese students or colleges will go bankrupt. And what? Have to enroll white guys? Oh, no. Oh, no. That'd be horrific. Let them go out of business. I did hear about Greg Biffle. My friend does these things called lemon races. It's where you get a car for like $500 and you make it as silly as possible, and then so you could drive it around the track the most. And the one race I ever went and watched him at, Greg Biffle was racing one of these silly cars. I didn't get to meet him or anything, but it's terrible news. Him and his family passed in a plane crash. Terrible. Some super chats here real quick. The Great Wade Boggs, $50 says, night shifts come to terms with responsibility, tending and caring for our dearest whipwheel. Thank you, Wade. Thank you for the 50. Unforced Ego, $20 says, the dude's on video renting the car he drove to both killings in the same clothes with the same fanny pack he was wearing at the Brown shooting. Holy cow. Unreal. Wally, $5 says, apparently a lot of shit's been going down in my neck of the woods tonight. How's everyone else? I'm good. Huh. What a weird story. That's terrible. Prayers out to the family, man. That's of these 3 victims now, plus the others that were injured in the shooting. Absolutely horrific. Chop Chop, $10 says this happened. This happened. President Trump signed into law nearly a $1 trillion defense policy bill Thursday and approved what looks to be the largest military package in U.S. history. Spend, 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 baby. All right. EU story. Yeah, rest in peace, Doge. Vito. Oh, why not? Let's jump into that. What's my take on the Andrew Wilson versus the F America tour controversy? They're saying he pulled out but provided no proof. So, full disclosure, I've barely talked to Andrew since DebateCon. He's very busy. I'm very busy. Here's what I know about this. There was talk of him possibly going down, him and Myron. I thought that was something that was going to happen. I didn't hear it from him. I read it on social media post. So I was reviewing a couple weeks ago or last week the Brian Shapiro, Andrew Wilson debate. Brian Shapiro calls on. Andrew Wilson calls on. Brian mentions that he's looking for someone to debate at America Fest. And I was like, I would love to come down and debate. Now, I don't know if Andrew agreed to a debate and backed out. My guess is no, that's not what happened. My guess is probably what happened was they were coming to terms of possibly agreeing, and those terms weren't met, is my guess. But I don't know. I know this. I would have happily went to AmFest to debate. Talked to Brian Shapiro, said, yeah, maybe it'll happen. Sent a couple emails. And Jake Rattlesnake reached out to me. Said, hey, would you be interested in going to America Fest and debating with me against Brian Shapiro and he'll have a partner? I said, yeah, I'd love to go. So then like a day later, I said, hey, Jake, what's the deal? Are we going to that? Because if so, I probably want to get a plane ticket now. Or are they going to reimburse plane tickets? And he was like, oh, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think it's really America Fest anyways. I think it's just some other event that's totally unaffiliated. And I was like, oh, okay. Then never mind then. So I have no idea. I don't know if Andrew agreed and then backed out. My guess is that's not what occurred. I don't know, though. I haven't heard Andrew talk about it. I haven't talked to him. I'm just not sure. But I do think that I thought, and maybe Andrew thought, and maybe Myron thought, that this was part of America Fest, of like the Turning Point USA event. And it's not. It's a venue across the street that the Unfuck America Tour is just following around Turning Point and doing a venue beside them. And that's different completely. Now, having the venue beside it doesn't mean it's not connected. Like there are, events you could go to that have multiple buildings, like a side building, side stage, etc. But I don't know. I could say this. I 100% absolutely fucking know that Andrew nor Myron are afraid to debate Destiny or Adam Mockler. That I know. So what I don't know is, did they agree? And then when they realized that things weren't as they seemed, they were like, never mind. Did they never agree? And they were waiting for details. And once the details came, they were like, never mind. Were they never given any details? And so they were just like, okay, we assume this isn't going on. We have other lives. I don't know. I don't know any of that. Myron explained it on X. So I don't know. I should debate Destiny. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to make it down tomorrow to debate Destiny at the Unfuck America tour. I mean, duh, it's always been beside Turning Point USA events. Yeah, but I didn't know that this was that. I thought America Fest was having debates. I knew that there was an Unfuck America that was like just sort of paralleling Turning Point USA. That I knew. I didn't know that that's what this was. I thought this was literally Turning Point was like, we're going to have a bunch of days of debates and speakers, and some of those debates are going to be righties and lefties. And I was like, oh, that's sort of different than how I've seen it before, but maybe it has to do with the tradition of Charlie Kirk debating people. I thought that was what I just assumed was going on. I didn't think twice. Everyone billed it. Like, even when I was talking to Brian Shapiro, he's like, yeah, going down to AmFest. Oh, at least that's what I thought he said. Maybe I was, but that's what I thought was going on. I thought it was America Fest, and this was part of it. And so in that would make sense to travel and go to, because it's like, well, you could network, you could see a bunch of other awesome conservatives. Why would I, for example, want to help the left-wing Unfuck America Fest? Why would I want to help them? By helping them sell tickets. I'd do it for money, and then I get to wreck the lefties debaters. That's fine. Brian said AmFest. Yeah, so I don't know. I did. They said Duggan was found guilty. Yeah. Great news. So I just, I don't know. I'll say this. Like I said, at the end of the day, I know there's no fucking chance that Andrew's afraid to debate people. Not those two. So, and I did see that Andrew put a post up, was like, sure, I'll debate him, whatever, fly me out, I'll debate him on whether or not Trump's a fascist. We'll do 1-on-2. So, all right, European Union. Let's move on to this story. Were they being dishonest? I have no clue. Maybe it literally, like, if I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, maybe they were just like, well, we just assumed people knew. We assumed everyone knew that we weren't connected to it in any way. Like I said, I have no idea. I can't speak for any of the people involved. I don't know. So, I could look up Myron and see if I can find the tweet. Okay. Here's what Myron said. They're not worth the time, but here's what happened. Andrew didn't know the debate was at a random restaurant. I spoke with him. He was fully willing to proceed. He did not run. Andrew made two easy, reasonable requests: a 5-minute opening statement instead of 3, and a clear definition of authoritarian, the core term of the debate. She refused both, claiming it would make the event boring and insisting on audience Q&A. In other words, diluting the debate with random questions to maximize ticket sales. This isn't a real debate. It's a money grab to recoup cost on the venue. Frankly, Andrew and I are bigger and more relevant. We'd be doing them a massive favor by showing up. That's the truth. Unfuck America is incredibly disrespectful and unprofessional, yet demanding we give them a circus. Well, there you go. That's what Myron says. So that they didn't understand that it was a different venue than America Fest. But once they did, it was like, okay, fine. We don't want it to be 3-minute openings. We want it to be 5 minutes. We're not really interested in the audience Q&A portion. We want the terms defined before the debate. They said no, and then Andrew and mine were like, okay, we're not interested then. So that sounds about right. So, but yeah, I'm unaffiliated, or I don't know anything about that. However, I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't think I'm breaking anything because I'm just going to show a social media post. If you could read that, that's Andrew who says, "Thank you, Patrick Bet David, for having me on today. Appreciate it." That's pretty big. It's pretty
Patrick-
big for Andrew.
Patrick responded 2 hours ago.
Responded to,
That post.
oh yeah, yeah, awesome. Yeah, so there you have it. Pretty cool. So good for Andrew. Congrats, man. That's a pretty big get. Macy Mays, are you talking to me? I don't understand what your point is. I don't understand how you're confused about negotiating with Unfuck America and Turning Point USA. That's really weird. What are you getting at? I don't understand what you're getting at. Yes, I don't think I was under. I don't know what Andrew and Myron were under the apprehension of. I was when Brian Shapiro said America Fest. I'm debating at America Fest, and they're looking for someone for me to debate. I assumed that America Fest had contracted with some of these lefties and said, "Hey, we want you to come debate. We're looking for right wingers for you to debate." So the debate would be at America Fest. There might be several venues that America Fest was having. That's what I thought was going on. I didn't think I was negotiating with Turning Point USA. I thought that they had agreed to bring someone on as a debater and we're like, see if you could find someone. And then once you find that person, we'll get in touch with them and say, hey, we'd like you to come down. Here's what your hotel accommodations will be. Here's what the venue will be. Blah, blah, blah. I was in the beginning stages of saying, sure, I'll go down. I don't know what was going on with Andrew. Not sure. I don't know why this is difficult to understand. What's it? Oh, you should have known. You should have known this wasn't an America Fest. And you agreed that you would do a debate. And you knew you should have known it wasn't America Fest. It was irrelevant anyways. I would have went if they didn't tell me, hey, we found someone else. Great, no problem. Oh, there's Andrew now. Oh, you fucking idiots. By the way, again, I can't speak for Andrew. But as far as I'm concerned, Andrew never put Destiny on a blacklist. Destiny has put me and I believe Andrew on a blacklist before. So the idea that somehow he's afraid to debate Destiny. And I also don't understand. It's one thing to be like, sure, I'll debate you next week on fucking online. You know? It's another thing to have to fly out, take time out of your fucking life to go help some left-wing event. What's up, Andrew? How you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Oh, not too bad. Yelling at morons.
I see that Z is still upset that I called her a troon. I thought she was, dude. I thought, okay, that's not fair to do, Rob, to be like, to look like that and then say your name is Z. You know, like, of course I think you're a troon, okay? That's not my fault, all right? It's not my fault, Rob.
From their perspective, why is that an insult? I don't get it. Like, nothing wrong with that, right, Z? You know, so.
Yeah, it's not. That's not my fault. Like, you can't look like that and then call yourself Z and expect me to not think you're a troon. I mean, that's like, of course I am. So I don't know what she was. I don't know what she was so bent out of shape. She was just pissed off because I ratioed her. She just got mad because I ratioed her. Yeah, she was like, she tried to make a quip about my wife, and I asked her if she had fucked Destiny yet, and then so that ratioed her, so she's all butthurt about it. But anyway, so I'll tell the story here. I haven't even had a chance because I was flying to even talk about any of this yet. So you get the scoop, I guess. And it's not much of a scoop. It's not much of a scoop, right? So what happened was Uncensored America reached out and asked if I would be willing to do a debate with Myron at America Fest. So here was the exact words. I'll tell you. Now, I don't sharing DMs, but I don't think that this guy would. I don't think this guy would actually give a shit about this. So you can still hear me, okay, right?
Yep. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, so let me pull these up. So the very first thing he says to me is, I don't want to get it wrong, you know, otherwise the Spurgs will go crazy. So I want to make sure I got the exact message. All right. Do. Okay, very first message, Thursday, November 20th. Would you be interested in debating Destiny and Adam Mockler at AnFest? Okay, that's the very first message. Would you be interested in debating Destiny and Adam Mockler at AmFest? Unfuck America wants to collab with us to do a 2v2 debate with them on Saturday, December 20th. They're bringing Destiny and Adam, and they're seeing if we can bring two conservatives. I figured Myron and you would be a great team. Myron suggested, has progressivism ruined the United States, which they rejected. They rejected all of our prompts. Okay.
Go figure.
Yeah, and the first thing I said to him is, that's a bad prompt. Let me think on a prompt. And so anyway, I made a bunch of prompt proposals, and they said no. They just like literally said no. And they were only willing to give us 3-minute opening statements. Okay. So what the format was, this is why I rejected this more than any other reason. There was a bunch of reasons, but this was one of the main ones. The format was supposed to be initially opening for Destiny and Adam is 12 minutes. Opening for Myron and Andrew is 12 minutes. Rebuttals for 5 minutes. Crossfires for 20 minutes. Audience Q&A for 30 minutes. Right? And then closing statements. And what they responded with was Destiny and Adam get a 3-minute opening, and then we get a 3-minute opening, 20 minutes of debate, and then 60 minutes of audience Q&A.
Of just left-wing
So-
audience people, right?
Yeah. So what was going on was that's not a debate.
No.
Okay, that's not a debate. And what that was it was a way to pique interest in basically having them debate with conservatives who showed up so that they could make clips. It's clip farming. They're trying to clip farm up, them to.
Oh, I lost you there.
But that was the format. 3-minute opening statements, only 20 minutes of debate, and then 60 minutes of audience Q&A. Right?
Yeah, that's pathetic.
So, yeah, we were like, no, we're not going to do that. And they refused to bend on it. Period. And anyway, so then Uncensored is like, well, would you be willing to do this, anyway with blah, blah, blah? And I said, I don't know. Let me think about it. Maybe, you know what I mean? Blah, 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 blah. And then I found out that it wasn't even at Amfest. It's at a bar across the street. And I said, I am not.
Oh, you clipped out there. We lost you. I'm sure he'll be right back. He probably has no idea that we lost him audio. Sounds like he has bad reception. I'm sure he's traveling. But while we're waiting for him to come back here, if we could hear him, this is very similar to the impression that I was getting.
But you're not really interested in. Go ahead.
Oh, you were clipping out. We missed a big 35 seconds there.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you fine now.
Okay. What's the last thing you heard?
That you found out it was at a venue across the street. It wasn't America Fest.
Yeah, it was at a venue across the street. Okay. Well, anyway, Myron called me and said, look, he said, I'd still like to do the debate. Anyway, he's like, I know it's bullshit, this and that, but I'd still like to do it. And I was like, well, okay. Then go ahead and contact, if this is important to you, then I'll do it too. You know what I mean? I said, so.
Gosh darn it. I don't know. Audio clipped out again. I'm not the only one who can't hear, correct?
Her exact words were, you're not famous enough.
Wait, okay, so you clipped out for 15 seconds there. So Myron said it was important to him. You said, okay, I'll go if you want. And then we missed a bunch, and you said her exact words were, you're not famous enough.
Oh, yeah. I said, yeah, I'll go if you want. So we contacted him and said, let's get a prompt together that we can all agree to then, if we're going to do this debate. And Z said, nah, forget it. We changed our mind. You're not famous enough.
Yeah, fuck them. It's and that's what I saw your response today, which was like, look, I'll fucking fly out and debate on is Trump a fascist. I'll fly out and debate both of them 2-on-1. Of course, they're not going to
2v1. Yeah, I said 2v1. One of the conditionals they wanted to do is Trump an authoritarian, but then they put in the caveat that I was not allowed to ask about the semantics around authoritarian. That was the caveat. We'll do Trump's an authoritarian, but you're not allowed to ask us what authoritarian means.
If authoritarian means wielding power, then yes, every president is.
Well, that's why, though. That's these people think that they can just equivocate. Like you need to do a debate where you allow us to equivocate. It's like, no, I don't. You fuck. No, I don't. So that's what happened there, right? This never got past negotiations. There was not a signed contract, right? This never went anywhere, ever.
I'll say this. I don't know the specific details until you're telling me here now. I knew this. The proposition that you were afraid to debate Andrew or Adam Mockler is fucking laughable. That is laughable. And that was the story they were trying to spin. And it's like, yeah, that's horseshit. And I know that this shit happened. What people don't know behind the scenes, especially with you, but it's in general all the time. There's constantly debates being suggested and ideas being thrown out there that never come to fruition. Hey, would you be interested at some point flying out here and doing this? Yeah, maybe. Let's discuss details.
99. By the way, 90%.
Yep, and it never moves forward from there. So you get this all the time. And if people run their mouth, oh, this is going to happen, and then later it's like, what didn't happen? Well, what happened? Did someone back out? No, it just never got off the ground, right? Like, that's the way this shit works. And especially the in-person shit. It's one thing to be like, sure, I'll tune in tomorrow online and fucking do this. It's another thing when you're talking about flying out to a place, spending multiple days there. It's completely different. And I'll be honest.
Well, I said, who's running? Like, here's my proposition. All debate: is Donald Trump a fascist? You call him a fascist 20 times a day. So you should definitely be willing to have that debate with me. Nope. Okay, I'll do it 2v1. Nope. Well, then shut up. Just shut up. You know what I mean? Just be quiet.
They always want to do shit in their terms. I remember, didn't Destiny blacklist you at one point? He blacklisted me.
Yeah, he blacklisted us both.
Yeah. So it's like, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, we want you to show up and we'll say 5 minutes of words to you and then just let an audience yell at you for 60 minutes so we can sell tickets to our events. You know what? Kiss my ass. Why does it have to be on your terms always? And that's the way these people always are. Well, why don't you come on with my moderator on my terms and leave me control the topic and leave me control the format? And the truth is, if that's what they think, well, you're not famous enough. Okay, Destiny, then you can sit around and do the little drama bullshit that you do all the time, talking about your pending legal cases.
Well, Z was telling people that I'm on a very, very good day. I'm lucky to crack 2K live viewers, so I'm just not famous enough.
Meanwhile, hey, didn't you have a big show this morning?
I did, but it's more ironic that I think half the just regular shows I do, I beat Destiny's live viewership. So I don't really know where they're coming up with this shit. So
it's all bullshit. Like the cope that people have. Like, I'll talk to you behind the scenes here coming up, but I was talking to people about. I was like, I don't think you realize the scale of how many people watch Andrew. I don't think you realize. Like, if you just take one streaming platform he's on, just YouTube, my guess is you average 7,000 live viewers on a regular episode, and that's if you're not scheduled to debate. If you're scheduled to debate, I'm guessing you regularly crack like 11,000.
Yeah, Chill Stream average is 5.5. Everything else we do, the average is between 6.5, 7.5. Debates are usually now average 10 plus.
Yeah. That's what I figured. So, and like, people don't understand the scale of that. Like, I spent years and years and years thinking I had a good day if I had 30 people watching live. I have 360 watching right now, which is phenomenal. Like, once you start talking over 5,000 regularly, like you right now, without scheduled, could start a live stream right now, and you'd have 5,000. Your little title of your stream could just be like, just dicking around, nothing to talk about, and you'd have over 5,000 people watching.
Actually, we did that by accident. I was doing some audio tests one day, and so I was like, I have to go live here, guys, but you don't need to tune in and watch this stream. There's nothing here worth watching. I'm just doing some audio tests. There's 5,000 people watching the audio test. Yep. So it's like, look, but they actually don't. And the thing is that in some ways that's a blessing, right? It puts me in the perpetual underdog category to these people. So in some ways it's a blessing because it's like consistently people are stun locked. They're like, what are you talking about? Like, people in the comment section are like, what are you fucking talking about? I watch a stream every day. I've never seen it under X amount. And then the code post, yeah, because of bots. it's all bots.
Of Rob. Course, those
I'm
same bots.
Remember, I'm sending my bots money to send me money, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Your financial strategy of giving YouTube 30% of everything you own. Absolute brilliance,
Yeah.
Well, it's
I just continuously recycle my cash so there's less of it.
It's a great plan. I think so much though, like it's amazing to me. I don't understand. Like for example, I don't know shit about how many people watch Brian Shapiro or how many people watch Adam Mockler. I really don't give a fuck. I just say what I think based on what they say. Well, right. That
nobody watches this guy. Like, he was so butthurt in my DMs back and forth with him, Shapiro, because I told him, I was like, you're on par with Rob Noerr. He's on par with you.
Yep.
Don't act like you're better than he is. And he was like, no, he isn't. I have a syndicated radio show. I was like, nobody listens to your radio show, dude. Nobody fucking listens to your radio show. I have millions of listeners. It's like, bro, you'd be fucking rich. You don't have millions of listeners. You know what I mean? Like,
I had a syndicated radio show when my live viewers were 15.
Yeah.
So that don't mean shit. Like,
yeah, they're full of fucking dog shit, dude. And Shapiro, nobody watches his shit. I've gone and seen his lives, and he'll be on there with other YouTubers, and nobody's watching his shit. And he's like, "This isn't my primary platform. Tony's the radio." I'm like, nobody listens to the fucking talk show radio anymore, bro.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Just stop coping, you fucking idiot. What a fucking idiot.
But here's the thing. I wouldn't say without knowing. And so many of the criticisms of you, it's like, well, no one watches you. That's easily verifiably untrue. Or, well, you're just red pill guy like Andrew Tate. If anybody's listened to you for more than 15 minutes, they'd be like, oh, that's not the case. In fact, he's argued with those people many, many, many times. But it's funny because people can't just look at your positions and be like, here's why this position's wrong. Instead, it's like, well, we're just going to say shit that's just verifiably untrue. Just straw manning your position and not even like close. Andrew's against marriage. Someone told me that the other day. That's one of the things that upsets me about Andrew. He's just against marriage. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. The whole debate with Coach, whatever his name was, Coach Dipshit, was literally the position that no, marriage can be beneficial and men should pursue it. And here's the conditions which are the best, which is under a religious flagship. Like, these people just lie. They just lie their asses off. Now, I'm not even concerned about that. That's a typical day at the office, right? But this whole thing with the debate thing, what actually stunlocked me about that was not that they were a bunch of lying, gutless leftist scumbags who were trying to get cheap political dunks in. I don't care about that. Brian Shapiro did that post-debate, Cope. They all do that after they get their asses wrecked, right? I don't even care about that. What stunned me, though, is like, why would any right-wingers want to work with you in the future? Like, I was talking with Patrick Bet-David about it today. I was like, yeah, and I was like, let me tell you what these fuckers did. And he was stunned. He was like, well, why would anybody ever work with them? I'm like, they wouldn't. Who the fuck would ever? And so this chick, right, the head of the operations or whatever, he just blew it for tons and tons of right-wingers. Like, tons of them would have come and debated. They could have made great shows. And she just blew it. Immediately blew it.
It's so dumb.
So it's so dumb. You people are fucking retards, bro. You people are fucking dumb as shit. Like, if I were to invite Destiny out for a debate, if I was like, hey man, I'm hosting this event, and there's going to be some right wingers out here that I would like for you to debate with. Here I'm going to give you like $5,000 per day of your time. We'll take care of your flight. We'll take care of your hotel room, and you're going to get treated with respect. Like, we're going to make sure that the whole time you're treated with respect and this and that, and then you'll fly home. We'll make sure that nobody harasses you or bothers you. Blah blah blah. That's how I would do it.
Yep.
But I'm not a fucking idiot. So.
Well, even DebateCon. The lefties stick around and hang out with us, and they're drinking at the open bar with us, right? Like, the entire idea is, and it's always been this way with you, if you're moderating a debate, you'll treat the lefties fair. If you're interviewing a lefty, you treat the lefties fair. Same with me, same with Jake, everyone. It's always been that way, right? Because we understand the utility of, we want these people to feel welcome to come in and then get fucking wrecked by us. That's the idea. So I don't understand if they're trying to build this, and particularly because this isn't a one-off for them. My understanding is they're trying to travel around the country and do this. So why would they
that's the whole point.
The big conservative names? You're the biggest conservative names they were going to get. You and Myra.
Well, the thing is, I don't know, but they did, and then they were like, we're just going to replace you with Owen Schroyer. And I'm pretty sure that they reached out and he told them to go fuck themselves.
Yes, of course he would.
Yeah, he's probably going to be busy at AmFest doing Owen Schroyer things. He's like, I'm not going to walk in over there to debate these fucking idiots. Fuck off. Yep. So what cracks me up about it, more than anything else, is like, what a way to burn a bridge for no good reason at all. Like, there was just no good reason at all to do it. They could have just been like, hey, here's the event we're going to do instead. And that would have been the end of it. Nope. Had to do they're running, blah, blah. And then the dumb bitch releases the DMs, which proves we weren't.
Right. That was the best
And
part.
I'm like, you fucking idiot. This doesn't prove that we had an agreement of any kind. What are you talking about? All that it proves is that I said, hey, I wasn't aware that this wasn't actually at AmFest. And you know what I told him? I was like, look, I think I'm going to just take a pass on this. But you could contact robnoerr. I was like, he might want to go down there and do a debate like this. Like that might be something he's interested in. That's it.
They don't want to do that.
I was just super nice to him, and then that was the payment. And so it's like, fuck you, dude. Fuck you, people. And I know what it is. They're all TikTok brain. They literally believe their own bullshit. They think we're all fucking evil. And you can just treat them how you want. And it's like, well, that's fine. You can do that. But, that's going to come back to bite you in the ass real hard.
Well, here's the thing, right? They don't want me. And it's not that they're more afraid of me than you. They give the game away when it's going to be a 20-minute debate. They're not actually interested in a debate. They're interested in clips. And someone like me, I don't have an audience. So it doesn't help them. They can't sell that. They could sell you. They could sell Myron.
Yeah.
They don't want to debate you and Myron. They just want to personal insults for 20 minutes and then leave the audience scream at you for 60 and then be on their way. Right? That's the idea.
Yeah, that's not,
so you want
that's
big
not
name.
a fucking, that's not a debate. And I told Uncensored America this. I was like, that's not a debate. What are you talking about? A debate would be, we have 10-minute openings. And he told him this. He was like, look, standard is 10-minute openings. We're not doing that. Andrew will just try to reframe the entire debate. And it's like, I was like, it's a fucking debate. What are you talking about? It's a debate. Like, what do you mean? And then, we're worried about filibustering. So I'm like, okay, make it a time debate. They're not interested in a time debate. And I'm like, well, what the fuck do you want? What the fuck do you want then? It's like,
can you guys just show up and not talk and leave the audience berate you for 60 minutes and we'll all go home?
Exactly. Exactly. Fucking stupid motherfuckers, dude. Stupid people.
That's just it. And, listen, it's always been, I don't blame Destiny. I don't blame him. Adam, I don't know as well, if I'm completely honest. But look, why would they want to have to, be in a very difficult debate? Easier to just be able to say your empty platitudes, control the topic what you want, have a 20-minute debate, which is nothing, and that's just enough time for insults, and then sit back and leave the audience yell at you guys and cash the check. That was the idea. So, fuck
well, I'm not flying out to Phoenix for a 20-minute debate. Yeah, that's the craziest shit that I've ever fucking heard. And these people are retarded. And this is why, this reminds me of Progressive Victory, which was another complete fucking nightmare. That was another complete fucking nightmare for these people that they made for themselves because they couldn't organize, they couldn't do any of this stuff correctly. They end up fighting within their own little pecking order because it's all victim complex. So Unfuck America had the same exact problem where Z was upset by not enough minority representation or some crazy shit. And they're basically banking on Destiny's debate skills to keep the whole thing going. But nobody will show up and do any debates because it's completely unreasonable to deal with.
Yeah, it's just. By the way, it wasn't one of my favorite Progressive Victory was all the ladies we didn't feel safe. It's holy fucking hell, these people.
Yeah,
a murderer's row of creepy guys and a handful of ladies. What you think was?
Well, one guy was like, "You're just afraid that Destiny's gonna talk shit about your wife." I was like, "I don't think Destiny wants to bring up our personal lives."
No,
okay?
he wouldn't. In fact, to credit to Destiny, probably out of not wanting to talk about his personal, I don't think he would bring up your wife at all. I really don't.
No.
He'd bring up a bunch of bullshit, irrelevant stuff, but he wouldn't bring that up.
I wouldn't care, but I wouldn't care if he did. I don't care if these idiots use this as an attack vector. It's a terrible attack vector. But the thing is you do realize that this is Destiny, right? You really don't want to be trying to virtue signal about what you do in your private life if you're Destiny. That's a really bad idea.
Well, look, that's like that fucking Brian Shapiro guy. So now he's called in 3 times to my show. He's called in, and every time when he doesn't like how he's doing in the debate, he's like, fuck you, you're fat. Your wife probably doesn't sleep with you. I'm like, interesting you want to bring up relationships. Oh, here's this lady on X that had some interesting things to say about her
Yeah, I remember.
Fuck you. I can't believe you're bringing that up. Hey, man, you're starting it. You're the one who went personal. I don't care. I'm more than happy if that's what you want to do. Like,
yeah, well, that's the thing that's so funny. It's like they cry out as they strike you, you know?
Well, but
literally,
listen,
they literally cry out as they strike.
You have
cry
to
out
be
in pain.
You have to be
Go
a
ahead.
little nervous that people found out about the fact that your wife was previously in a relationship. Oh, wait a minute! You never hid that fact whatsoever.
Oh
It's
no!
like they
Well,
broke this
listen,
story,
it's a terrible thing. I'm a stepfather. My God. Along with I don't know, probably 15-20% of men in the United States, or their stepmothers, right? But I'm sorry that's such an offense to leftists. I thought that wasn't an offense to leftists.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But anyway, it doesn't. None of that's relevant. These are all trivial matters.
Yep.
The point is that this debate had nothing at all. It was never negotiated out. There was never a contract signed. There was none of that. It just never happened. And so then this chick was like, I found out that he was purposely trying to stall the event in order to cause problems. And I was like, do you have any evidence of this at all? Where on earth are you getting this information? What are you talking about? And nothing, of course, no evidence whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it is what it is. This is who these people are. Like, I don't understand why they couldn't just be upfront with it, and it would have been in their best interest to, like, a month ago say, hey, you know what? We're steadfast in these demands, and you would have said, okie dokie, no hard feelings, not interested. Then they could have tried to find someone. Me thinks that maybe they wanted the rumor that you and Myron were going to be there to play out longer, because maybe that'd help drive ticket sales. I don't know. But, the whole thing, it's just, I don't know. I never understood why people want to, like, drag out all this drama and shit. If I'm them, I'm just like, okay, it didn't work. Here's the backup plan. By the way, you know that because you were involved in some sort of debate planning and things for other things, right? If it doesn't work out, you're like, okay, plan B. That's it. You don't drag it out like, oh, what the fuck? We assumed this was going to happen and you're running and this, that, and the other. It's like, yeah, okay. Whatever. So,
well, I don't know. I don't think we don't quite. It's not the same position anymore where we just don't have a platform to defend ourselves. It's like the bitch who said it got ratioed. Fuck you. You know what I mean? It's not like it used to be. You fucks. You know what I mean? We can defend ourselves much better these days. And you don't have all of Twitch poll anymore to suck your fucking knob. So
that was it.
But anyway.
Yep, you used to have to go
I figured, yeah. So I figured I would give you the details on what actually happened. And what actually happened is nothing. There wasn't even anything to make commentary on. Right? The debate was never agreed to. It fell apart, and who cares? You know what I mean? Who gives a shit? Happens constantly. Happens every fucking day. So yeah, these people are just psychopaths.
Yep. I might as well say the same thing. I guess I could be the big man. Brian Shapiro agreed to debate me and then he backed out. No, of course not. He's like, yeah, let's see if we can make this work. It didn't work. What did I say? I said, oh, he's going to debate Alex Stein. Good for him. Alex has a big audience. I didn't big man it. Oh, he's afraid. They backed out. I was just like, okay, shit happens. No problem.
Yeah, but Brian, he's been trying to light me up in the DMs, trying to pump me for info, which has been pretty funny. He's like, so what's going on with AmFest? And I'm like, I'm always like, what do you want? What do you want from me now, Brian? I don't want anything from you. I'm like, okay, well then have a nice day.
Wait, why are you talking to me?
Yeah. So then, a couple days later, he'll be like, so Andrew, what's going on with blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, what do you want now, Brian? I don't want anything. I'm like, then why are you talking to me, Brian? It's just, look, I can't help it. I can't help it. Mess with
I don't get that. Like that guy
he's
doesn't make sense.
He's a very excitable fellow.
Yes.
Okay? He's a very excitable fellow.
He's like, yeah, let's see if we can set something up for AmFest. Okay. And then he's like, out of nowhere, he's like, hey man, do you want to come on my radio show tomorrow? And I was like, well, are we debating at AmFest? And he was like, did you read the email I sent you? I was like, no. He's like, here's my number. Call me. It'll be easier. So I call him and he's like, hey, I'm debating Alex Stein. Okay, no problem. No hard feelings. So do you want to do the radio show tomorrow? Yeah. And then he starts talking about you and he's like, I never agreed that it was going to be this ethics debate and blah, blah, blah. And he's just going on about it. And I swear to you, I just listened to him for like 5 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I don't give a shit about any of that. If you don't want to debate ethics with me, you tell me the topic you want to talk about. I'm fine with whatever you want to talk about. He says, I want to talk policy, like Trump striking Venezuelan boats and other things in the current events. I said, no problem. So I go on his show. What's the very first thing he does? How could you ethically vote for Trump after what he did? I'm just like, is this not the exact thing you told me you wanted to avoid? And then he told you, well, the reason I don't want a moderator with the second debate is because, I just think things get lost. And I never mute people when you said you'll mute me. What's he do to me? Fucking mutes me at the end and then kicks me out. So it's like everything he said, it was bullshit, right? He just got mad because he got stumped.
That's why I never ever listen to a fucking word they say. When a leftist says we don't need a moderator, I insist we have a moderator.
Yep.
When a leftist says I'm not going to mute you, I insist that they have no access to mute me. So the thing is like I literally just don't believe them, right? And the only reason that a person is telling you not to have a moderator is because they're going to do something fucked up.
That's
the only reason. Why would anybody care if there was somebody there to fairly moderate a debate unless they were planning on doing something nefarious that they weren't supposed to be doing?
And the mere fact that he took it to ethics in the debate with me right out of the gate is further proof that he was full of shit, that he didn't expect the debate with you to be about ethics. Of course he did, because his go-to, he admitted this. My go-to when I talk to Trumpers is to ask them how they could ethically, he doesn't use the word ethic, how could you possibly vote for someone who's so immoral? So an ethics question. Fine, no problem. Where do you get your ethics?
Yeah, well, do you know, wait a second. There is no difference between ethics and morals, really.
Correct.
Exactly. There's no distinction there. So the thing is like, Brian was very clear with Jake that he wanted to discuss the ethics of Donald Trump, the morality of Donald Trump. That's what he always talks about. This guy's immoral. He's immoral. He's immoral. And so I was like, sure, yeah, I'm happy to talk about that. Now, I would have done a policy debate with him if he'd wanted to. I'm happy to do that too. I do those often. I just did one recently with Counterpoints.
Yep.
It was a policy debate. I don't even think we hardly got into ethics at all. And so the thing is like, I'm happy to do those if that's what they want to do, but I go with what the prompt is. And in this case, we knew what the prompt was. He agreed to it. Jake showed the message. So what the fuck are we talking about? So anyway, what Brian was mad about is I made him look fucking stupid.
Yes.
I made him look like he had no floor, no foundation for any of the things that he was saying. And he was just like, well, my entire ethical system just boils down to like my parents told me some stuff. That was his entire ethical system. And I was just like, oh, okay, well, my parents told me some stuff too, Brian. So, okay, are we good now? Like you fucking idiot. And then, in later DMs, I would talk with him and be like, look, I can actually help you avoid this in the future so that you understand, if these kind of, then this is like very low philosophy. We're not talking about high philosophy here. It's like low philosophy, just basics. You know what I mean?
Right.
This can actually help you navigate those conversations and you could probably get a lot more fruit out of them. And you're not better than me. Don't act like you can teach me how to debate. I've been debating for 30 years. And I'm like, well, you lost to me. So, and it was on a very basic thing. So like, I can help you with that if you'd like. And they're just so fucking arrogant and up their own ass. They don't even like, even if you try to help them, that's like, to them, you're rubbing salt in the wound.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. That's
so,
exactly.
So they're like little kids. You know what I mean? I'll do it myself. And you're like, okay. And then they do it themselves and the thing falls down on them. They're like, how could you let me do that?
It is really unbelievable. And the fact that he brought you up so many times in all the interactions I had, and then he kept calling back into my show. It's because he has so low self-esteem because he knows he lost, and that's why he has to do two things. One, try to, well, look how many people watch me. Oh, okay. And then he has to like, yeah, well, your fucking Blake probably doesn't sleep with you, and you're a fucking lapdog for Andrew Wilson, and fucking the insults he was making to you. And it's like, yeah, man, just admit you got crushed, and now you're fucking desperately reaching for something. Like the old enemy Charlie strategy. Well, I got my ass kicked the whole debate for 4 hours, so I'm just going to make a personal insult and hope that all Andrew's haters are like, oh, well, there you go. You know, the low tier people. But yeah, I mean, if he would actually, like the ethic discussion, if he would have listened to you, I think it could take him a long ways. But that's not in his agenda. Because his agenda is just to, as shallow as possible, browbeat people into like, well, you're immoral because Trump's immoral, and so therefore you're immoral if you ever support him. And he doesn't want to learn, like, well, wait a minute, here's how you evaluate ethics or how to get into these discussions, because he has no interest. That doesn't suit him to have a fair-minded look at these sort of things. So, you know, I'm not surprised that he didn't want to, and he is going to feel hurt. He knows he got crushed. That's all it is. That's all of this was. He's probably watching right now. I'm flattered he watches my show. I've never watched his, so.
Yeah, well, I don't know. He's a fucking retard. Like, and what makes him retarded isn't even that he lost a debate. Debaters are going to lose debates. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What makes him retarded is that he knows how badly he did, but refuses in any way, shape, or form to take any correction. I mean, he told me in our DMs, he's like, well, I've got some advice to you. Do you want to hear it out? And basically, he thought I was going to say no, and I was like, yeah, sure. What is it? And then he goes on to say some trivial shit. Don't smoke while you're on TV.
Ah, yeah.
That was his big advice was don't smoke while you're on TV. It's unprofessional. So basically, he made a Smoky Man bad argument.
Well, for me, he was like, you're not good at something. And I'm like, what? He's like, eating salads. I was like, no. As a fat guy, I eat a lot of salads, just other unhealthy shit on top of it. Do you really think eating I was like, you're not even doing this well, Brian. And then the last time it changed to your wife probably doesn't sleep with you. It's like, what? Where's this coming from?
Yeah, what are you?
It's so
yeah, what are you talking about?
It's like it's like a discussion about marriage or something. It literally is like, oh yeah, you think Joe Biden's bad?
The thing is like,
sleep with you.
I pretty specifically remember, her being pregnant with Hank and Hank being born, and I'm pretty confident the stork didn't bring Hank, bro.
Yes, that's true.
I'm confident that there may have been other machinations afoot, which led to this pregnancy, which then in turn led to a child, and it had nothing to do with a long-beaked bird. Okay, so I mean, this is pure speculation on my. What do I know? It could have been the stork. It could have been. It's logically possible it was the stork.
Brian knows so little about ethics, maybe he doesn't understand the reproductive process as well. So there's a chance he may believe the stork story. I don't know. But I just thought it was funny in a way he didn't expect, because just imagine you're having this discussion like, well, listen, here's some of the things that went on January 6th, and here's some of the stuff that went on with Russiagate. Yeah, well, your wife probably doesn't sleep with you. It's so out of left field. I was like, that's kind of funny, to be honest. But I'm like,
you know what? Next time somebody says that, you should be like, that's true. She only sucks my dick.
Yes, that's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. Next time you should be like, you're right. I'm too fat. She just sucks my cock. That'll fucking piss them off, bro.
It is amazing how many people. It's amazing how many people are like not married and don't have kids that like want to go with those sort of attacks, and it's like, oh, okay, unlike you, right? And then you have to watch them try to. Well, it was the same with that RTP guy. He started that shit with me. Well, your wife. That's how that whole thing started over on Sarah's channel. He was on his channel. This guy can't be married. No one would be at this fat slob. He's too argumentative, blah, blah, blah. Then we get on the show, and I was like, what'd you say about my wife? And he's like, yeah, she wouldn't be with blah, 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 blah. I'm like, are you married? Well, no. Then shut your fucking mouth. Like, what are you talking about? And then he tries to do the big man. Oh, I get mine. Don't you worry. I get mine. I'm like, don't you have kids? Yeah. That's not something to brag about. So what, you're bringing multiple strange women into the home? That's not cool. It's not something to brag about. And for that, I was a big asshole. I shouldn't have brought up his kids. Oh, fuck you. But it's like, why would you even go? Look, fellas, if you're out there and you're not married or something, that's okay. Hopefully you find love and you find the right person. I'm wishing you the best. But maybe don't fucking attack people for their relationship that are happily married. I don't understand it. Like, it'd be like if I'm like debating you, Andrew, and I'm like, you fat fuck. You'd be like, what? Are you sure that's the line of attack you're trying to make here? So I just don't, and it happens all the time. I don't know what it is. Is it like some some fucking like low self-esteem shit that like they're projecting? Like, I'm not married, so fuck you. I'm gonna say your marriage must not be good. It's like, okay, have at her. You know, there's a lot of things in the world I'm not good at. My marriage is what I'm actually doing really great at. I'm happily married. I couldn't be happier with it. So
Yeah, well, like, look,
it's-
I can actually demonstrate this because your audience probably doesn't know just how close Rob and Courtney are. But let me give you an example. So we were heading over to this breakfast buffet, and we kind of pull into the drive, and Courtney was like, I'm not sure I want to eat here. And Rob turned around and smacked her right in the fucking mouth. And he's like, shut up, you stupid bitch. We're eating right here. Shut your fucking mouth. And she was like, yes, dear. And then we went in, and it was a wonderful breakfast. It really
I made her
was.
sit in the corner because she wouldn't stop crying. I was like, stop your
She was
crying.
Yeah, she was out of fucking control. But you know what? It's a healthy relationship. I saw it firsthand.
That's how it goes. True story. This is true. When I first met
Yeah,
her,
it happened.
she was like, she was a little drunk. We were at a party, and she's like, someday maybe we'll get married. Like, I'm a great cook, and like, I want to have kids someday. What would you bring to the marriage? And I said, a good backhand. And she laughed, and I was like, this is the one for me.
And then when we were going to breakfast, you showed it. So it's like, exactly.
Right.
That's right.
That's exactly what happened. Now the next time I debate Brian Shapiro, he'll be like, I heard you and Andrew admitting that you backhanded your wife. I'll be like, you got me, Brian. You nailed it, you know? It's so tiresome.
And then Andrew turned and spit in her face.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it, yeah.
These people are fucking ridiculous, Rob. They're fucking ridiculous. But anyway, I'll let you get back to your...
Yes, please. Yeah,
Go ahead.
I am so glad I have to call you someday soon just to bullshit about a couple unrelated things. But I'm glad you called in with that because I know people were asking about it. All I knew was you ain't fucking afraid of Destiny and Adam Mockler. That much I knew.
No, that's ridiculous. And well, it's not only that; it's just like the whole thing was a shit show from start to finish. But yeah, I'm not flying out to fucking Phoenix to do a 20-minute debate. That's insane. It wasn't even at AmFest, and the most they were promising was that a CNN reporter would be there to do a hit piece on me. You know, for when the debate is done.
Even more of an incentive to be there.
Totally. All right, I'll let you go, Rob. Thanks for having me on. Have a good day.
Hey, Andrew, thank you as always, man. Say hi to the family, and thanks so much for calling on, man.
Of course, yeah.
We'll see you. All right, there you have it. Well, we turned a simple super chat question into the full-blown explanation breaking right here. So there you have it. Straight from Andrew, and you saw Myron's comments that match right up with that on the expos. So, one thing I will say that I can say is I talk to Andrew a lot. I talk to Jake a lot. And there are hypothetical debates that we'll strategize for that we haven't even remotely had any sort of contact with. So, like, I might be like, Andrew, if I ever debate Mark Levin on, like, sort of this Israel thing, do you got any thoughts on that? Like, that argument? Because we're weird. We like debate. That's the sort of stuff we do. So it's nothing for me to hear, like, you know, Jake or Andrew or other people in the Crucible. Hey, if I was going to debate Ben Shapiro. So I had heard, like, it was a possibility that Myron and Andrew would be debating at America Fest, is what I heard. I didn't even know the topic. In my head, I was like, Trump bad. That's what the Adam Mocklers and the Destinies of the world would say. It's like, Trump bad. So, but it is, I could honestly say, that's the way it is. There's constantly, when you're bigger, and I'm sure on the other side of the ledger, I'm sure that someone like Destiny gets this. Or someone will be like, hey, Destiny, or reach out to Destiny's team. Would you be willing to show up to this event in, Philadelphia? I don't know, give us some details. Then details come, nah, we're not happy with that. We're going to pass. If every time that happened, someone was like, oh, you backed out. It's like, no, that's not what's happening there. So, you know. But anyways, there you have it. All right. Dan Goldstein, $2 says, I'm a Wilson bought 3,000, beep, bop, boop. Thank you so much. John GQ, $10 says, tell Brian Shapiro that video killed the radio star. Ah, man. I did. I had a radio show. That's absolutely true. And hardly anyone watched that or my live stream. So, Kokomo, $20 says, Crucible Donut Bot 3145 activated. Thank you. Wade Boggs, $50 says, Donut Bot 2415 whip wheel prompt. Thank you, Wade. Amazing. Thanks so much, man. Chop Chop, $5 says, they're so lame. They have to have Andrew come on so they can grift. Yeah. I mean, that's absurd. The idea of a 20-minute debate, that's laughable. 3-minute opening statement and then 20-minute debate. That's nothing. Nothing. Jabroni Big Time, 5 memberships. Thank you so much. FDNY, 5 memberships as well. Thank you. And then Kokomo, 5 membership. And thank you so much, Islamic Folk Hair. Appreciate it. For the $10. NPC the game. 150 somethings. Says NPC Panelverse Award live stream of the year voting update. 1K votes in. 2 days. Rob leading 64%. Sarah with 20%. Andrew, we talked about the awards last year. I messaged on Instagram recently. There you have it. Yes, let's see. If you'd like to go vote for me for debate host of the year on the NPC.
No, it's over. No more vote. It's you won.
Oh, I won?
That's what he's trying to say. See?
Oh, my pen.
Vote.
I won. I'm the
Won.
winner. I thought it was 7 days.
Was it 7 days? I mean,
Yeah.
I looked for the actual thing to go through. It didn't say. Hold on. I could be wrong. I've been known to be wrong.
I don't believe it. That's happened?
I don't believe it. Well, you didn't post it. See, it just says view results right here, day 2.
Yeah, I think it's 7 days.
Oh, okay.
But here's the link. If people want to vote.
Then I was wrong. Back of the bus for me.
It's all right. I could be wrong as well. But if you want to vote, here you go. You can vote for me or someone else if you want. But why would you want to vote for someone else? Speakeasy's there. Speakeasy's cool. Willa Divine, $5. My first super chat goes to you, Rob. God bless. Thank you so much. I'm honored, for real. You guys are the lifeblood of this, and Andrew giving me the opportunity to stream full time and to work for the Crucible is what allowed me to do this. And then you all and your continued support's what allows me to continue to do this as much as I do. So we got some votes for Fanny, some votes for Sarah. Hey, man. That's democracy in action. You vote for who you want. I'd appreciate a vote, but hey.
You're right.
No problem.
I found it. It ends Tuesday, December 23rd.
Oh, look at that.
You're right.
New Year's Eve's Eve, huh? Go vote. All right. I'm going to head to the restroom. I'll be right back. I'm very quick at going to the restroom. Trust me. You all think of what you want to talk about. I got a couple stories. I got this EU story. If you guys, since we're in the mood to be talking about drama shit and stupid shit, if you guys want to talk something on that, I'm okay with that. But I do have more news stories to cover as well. So whatever you all want. I'm going to go to the restroom real quick and fill up my water jug. I will be right back. Please get the donos in. Chair, give them.
You know what's coming, Chair, right?
This is the Rob Noah Show. It's not the Noah Rob Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more. But maybe that's just because it was your show. But it's not your show. It's the Rob Noah Show.
Yeah, the chair's banging out to this.
This is the Rob Noor Show. It's not the Noor Rob Show. This is my favorite show because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more. But maybe that's just because it was your show, but it's not your show. It's the Rob
No
Noor
whip
Show.
songs.
Ah.
Is that it? All right.
What?
Was that the end of the song? All right.
What was it? I wasn't here.
Yeah. So whatever you guys want to talk about, just let me know. I'll check the chat out. And if you send it in the form of a super chat, I'd be more apt to see it. FDNY, Hannah Dugan could use attention if you already did her earlier. Never mind. No, we didn't. So she was found guilty, from what I hear. Dugan was, for those that don't remember, Dugan was the judge that was basically facilitating getting illegals out so that ICE couldn't pick them up, sending them a back door through the court. We could show this a little. She's facing up to 5 years. She was found guilty of obstruction. I think there's zero chance she'll get that. She'll probably get a slap on the wrist. But here we go.
For the first time, we're seeing Judge Hannah Dugan outside her courtroom April 18th, wearing her black robes, appearing to confront several federal agents there to arrest Eduardo Flores Ruiz, a Milwaukee man and Mexican national charged locally with 3 counts of domestic battery. This video, released by Milwaukee County through an open records request, is part of the evidence in the case against Judge Dugan, who's charged with obstructing a federal investigation, concealing Flores Ruiz, allowing him to leave her courtroom by a different door after sending the agents to speak to the chief judge. Flores Ruiz, dressed in black with his attorney, is seen in several of the videos leaving by that other door. One prosecutors say was used by jurors and not open to the public. As he leaves, though, he is seen in the hallway, followed by another agent. As Flores Ruiz gets into the elevator to leave, the agent slips in as well. According to the criminal complaint against Dugan, that agent followed them down. The agent seen here following out of the building downstairs, and once backup arrived, they tried to arrest Flores Ruiz, who another video shows ran north in front of the courthouse for nearly a block before agents caught up with him and arrested him. Federal agents arrested Dugan herself a week later.
Eduardo Flores Ruiz's domestic violence case is moving through the Milwaukee County Court. He is, however, in federal custody on his immigration arrest. The FBI arrested Judge Dugan at the county courthouse 1 week later on April 25th. She pleaded not guilty in a federal court last week.
Judge Dugan, your response.
That's Dugan exiting the federal courthouse after an arraignment last week. Her legal team filed a motion to dismiss the case, calling it unconstitutional and saying that she is entitled to judicial immunity. A judge set a tentative trial date for July 21st.
So, and then she was just found guilty today then of obstructing ICE. Nobody's above the law. That's right, right? Now, again, the same party that will tell you about, like, oh my goodness, we need to protect women and violence against women and VAWA, the Violence Against Women Act, will support a judge that's trying to help an illegal escape federal custody who is being charged with beating the shit out of his lady. Domestic violence. Nice! Make no mistake about it, this was just one judge that got caught, and it's fantastic news that she's going to face some sort of justice. Again, remember, was it a jury trial? Let's see if I can find this. A jury, yes. Now, my understanding is that the judge will be the one that does sentencing. That's the way this normally works. And I'd be shocked if she gets any sort of serious sentence. She may totally avoid jail time. Yep. That would be my guess, probation. But it's a start. And make no mistake about it, there are judges and prosecutors all over this country that will bend over backwards to allow criminals that they think are in political status that they like to continue to get away with breaking the law. It's the same judges that continually allow people based on their skin color to be allowed on the street over and over, or that will allow illegals to escape punishment, or that will allow trans people to get less of a punishment. Same thing. It's a federal charge. So I don't know that there is a mandatory minimum. I'm sure the mandatory minimum's a fine. But my slavery, yeah. So, yeah. So, yeah, good story. A feel-good story. 10-year minimum. There you go. Now we're talking. Put them in solitary like the Jan 6 people, right? That's how you do it. That's how it's done, right? All right, what other story do you guys want to talk about? I was trying to see if there was any debates happening tonight. I would have happily went on and wrecked someone at a debate. That's fun. I like that. But I don't see anything going on this fine evening. Mm-hmm. Just checking a couple things. All right. Yeah, we talked about Bongino resigning last night, so that was a big part of the story last night. Did I hear about the Australian police busting 7 terrorists? I vaguely heard about this. We're going to move on to the story I wanted to talk about, I think, that no one cares about except me. But I care. So this story is first brought to my attention. I hadn't heard it at all, except I was doing the extravaganza the other day with Jake Rattlesnake, and he brought this story up. He was like, hey, have you heard this? I said, no. And I was shocked. Let's see if I can find the exact clip. Let's start with that. I'm not going to be able to find the clip. Now, he played this clip, and it was very interesting. What it was there's a discussion going on in Brussels that the EU is basically, I'm going to make this stupid so I can understand it. So if I'm capable of understanding it, hopefully you will be as well. The idea is this. There are all these assets from Russian oligarchs, Russian people, etc., that were in banks in Europe. And those accounts have been frozen. And so now the EU is going to send Ukraine more money for the war. Okay? So one of the things they're going to do is basically send this money from frozen assets of Russian oligarchs to Ukraine. But there's a problem. International law won't let you do that. So, the way they're trying to spin this to get around this is to say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to send this money, and then after the war, it will be reimbursed as long as Russia pays reparations to Ukraine. Otherwise, the money will go for those reparation payments. Now listen to that again. Here's this pool of money that's frozen from Russians. We're going to give this money to Ukraine. Legally, we're not allowed to do that. If the money's frozen, you can't say, well, we're going to take that money. But we're just temporarily giving it over. And as long as Russia repays Ukraine after the war, then we'll give Russia these frozen assets back. We'll put the money back in. So technically, it's not taking the money from Russia. It's just, through a second order consequences, paying the reparations that they feel Russia should owe. It is a World War III scenario. Now, here's the problem with this. One, even if it's state-owned Russian assets, this is basically an act of war. It also completely destroys any faith whatsoever in the international monetary system. Why would anyone at this point trade with Europe? Like, what would happen if let's say in the next 20 years we have Democrats elected and the United States just falls off a fucking cliff militaristically and we're just weak and the European Union build up some military and they're way stronger and they go, you know what? We're seizing American assets now. Fuck you. And we're going to give them to Iraq. We think you owe Iraq money from when you invaded. And we think you owe Afghanistan. So we're going to give it to that. And you'll get your money back, U.S., if you pay reparations to the countries. Imagine that. But here's the worst part. This isn't just Russian state money. A lot of this is just people that are deemed Russian oligarchs. Now, who gets to make that declaration? It's not that these Russians have been convicted in a court of law as being involved in the Russia-Ukraine war. Far from it. So imagine that. Maybe you're a fucking Russian that doesn't even like the war, and you're like, this sucks. And they just seize your money. So we talked about this. Jake and I talked about this the other day. Now we have another story breaking on this. Now, last night we talked about Trump freezing a tech deal with the UK over free speech concerns. Now, basically what this is over is Brussels is now fining Elon Musk and X because hate speech and other forms of speech that Europe doesn't like that's allowed to occur on X. And we talked about this a lot. The idea is the interest in the United States and interest in Europe that are sort of the establishment ruling class, they don't want free speech. They don't like it. Now, the problem is it's difficult because the United States has that pesky First Amendment. So we're still not at the point where the U.S. politician could just be like, yeah, fuck you. We're going to do what we want. They basically can, but still, even for them, this would be a difficult proposition. You know how during the pandemic, when we just had NGOs and Intel assets just sort of pressuring social media companies to censor, they can't come right out, or at least they would have trouble coming right out and be like, yeah, you must censor this. So what happens is they ensure that their allies in Europe will say, well, we're going to censor this. And not to go and recover everything last night too much, but the general idea is this. In order for a social media company to be able to compete with the rest of them, they need access to world markets, including Europe. And so if they can't operate in Europe, that puts them in a very difficult spot economically. But if they operate in Europe as they currently are, at least in the case of X, then they're going to get fined hundreds of millions of dollars. This means that either A, they have to stop operating in Europe, B, they have to pay the fines, which will put them into bankruptcy eventually, or C, they have to somehow create programming that censors content that's going on in the United States from going into Europe, which also will destroy the app. Or D, and this is what Europe's hoping for, an interest in the United States, they just decide to crack down on their terms of service and allow Europe to be the arbiter of free speech and what's allowed to be said on social media. Because it's going to be too difficult to censor certain things in Europe, but allow them to occur in the United States. So Mike Benz has been calling for a long time. We must protect X. We must protect American companies, particularly if our allies are trying to crack down on free speech, which is the First Amendment for a reason. It's not the exact same problem. I'm unaware. I think in the United Kingdom, it was 40,000 people last year sent to jail for online social media posts. Of course, it is true that there is some amounts of censorship, but it's nowhere near the case that we see in the UK and European Union. It's coming if we don't fight against it, but they're clearly censoring faster and more in the European Union. So no, it's nowhere near the same. So we already have that flashpoint of the United States versus the EU, in this case, the UK. Then this story comes out that I see yesterday. Huge development. The United States has notified the European Union that it wants frozen Russian sovereign assets incorporated into a negotiated settlement of the Ukraine war. That position immediately exposes a major problem for Brussels. Europe has already functionally collateralized Russian central bank assets, not through formal seizure, but by pledging windfall profits and future proceeds from those assets to support long-term financing and loan structures in Ukraine. So basically, the United States is like, no, you can't do that. Because part of our negotiations that we're having between Russia and Ukraine has to do with this money. This is leverage. Hey, Russia, you want this money back? Okay, maybe you pull back a little further than you otherwise would have in this negotiated settlement. So the United States is saying, no, you can't just take that money and give it to Ukraine. We're telling Russia that it's part of a negotiated settlement. You can't do that. It continues. This has been publicly acknowledged in the EU and G7 policy frameworks over the past year. That financing model was built off of one core assumption. Either the war would continue indefinitely or Russia would be decisively defeated. Now, this is what I said to Jake the other day. The idea, they're literally under the assumption of like, eventually Russia will pay reparations. But that would imply that Russia loses. The winner ain't paying reparations, and Russia ain't losing. So what if the negotiated peace says, actually, Ukraine has to pay reparations? Then what's Europe going to say? But we stole your money, Russia, because we thought you would have to pay reparations and we'd just pay it forward for you using your own money. Okay, well, now we're not paying reparations, so give us our fucking money. Well, it's not there anymore. We sent it to Ukraine. Well, that's a shame. So like this is saying, it rests on the faulty assumption that the war will just go on forever. So there'll never be a finality to it. So where it will be like, okay, now give us our money. Or Russia will sign some sort of settlement that they owe Ukraine something. And they don't. They're not going to do that. Now, I know the pro-Ukrainian people are going to be like, but fuck Russia, they're evil and they're terrible and they should pay reparations. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. Losers pay reparations. Russia ain't losing. It doesn't matter if they're morally right or wrong. They ain't losing. They are going, if the way this will end is, eventually Western nations will get tired of financing Ukraine. It will no longer be in their interest to send money in Ukraine. And so then Ukraine's going to be left holding the fucking bag, and they're going to have to go crawling to Russia and negotiate. And they're going to be negotiating from a position of weakness. And so Russia's not going to say, you know what? Let's just give everything back to you. It's not going to happen. This is why the key time to negotiate would have been after the initial push by Russia was sort of stymied. That was the best negotiating position for Ukraine. As we continue, the only thing that we're accomplishing is delaying the inevitable and leading to more Russian men and Ukrainian men being killed. That's it. Lindsey Graham says, good. That's exactly what we want. We're killing Russians without having to use our soldiers. I don't want to send fucking innocent Ukrainian men to a fucking meat grinder for my interest. I think that sucks, especially if my dollars are financing it. Please speak English in here. I don't want someone violating terms of service and not knowing it, so please speak English. And here's right on cue, which is exactly what I said would happen. But why should Ukraine have to pay anything? Blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying Ukraine will pay reparations. But if there are reparations that'll be paid, it'll be the losing side. It's like dealing with, I don't know what to say. It's been like this with the Russia-Ukraine war the entire time. The entire time. People just ignore reality. They just ignore reality. They think that they're going to be like, well, the truth is that Russia's bad guys, so inevitably they lose. They'll pay everything. Yeah, that's not how it works. I don't know how to make it clear. If it was up to me, Russia would lose today and go home with their tail between their legs and it would end. That's not feasible. It's not happening. I've said this from the get-go. It has nothing to do with who I think should win. It has everything to do with the United States has no business in this. How? How can the U.S. stop the war anytime they want? Explain. Boots on the ground? Nuking Russia? World War III? Explain how they could stop. Go ahead, explain to me how the United States has stopped the war. They can. They absolutely could stop. They could say, we're no longer sending one more dime to Ukraine. That is what they should do. It's absolutely what they should do. And then guess what the concessions are going to be from Ukraine then? Huge. The only way that Ukraine could get anything from the bargaining table is with the backing of the West. If the West all tomorrow says, you know what, we're not backing you anymore, Ukraine, what do you think Ukraine's bargaining position is then? They're fucked. How is Trump going to put a hardline stance? Threaten war. That's your argument. If Trump just says, Putin, we're going to war with you and starting World War III if you don't pull out of Ukraine tomorrow. That's true. We could start World War III. I'm against that. I think it's bad enough we're sending money to Ukraine. I don't want to go to war with a nuclear-armed superpower over it. I'd like to avoid that. Now, not you, because virtue signaling about Ukraine so important, I see. But I'd kind of like to avoid nuclear holocaust. You know, that's just me. Why didn't Biden just end the war? Clearly the Democrats don't like Russia. If the United States could have ended the war at any moment, why didn't Biden? Why didn't the Democrats do it? If he's as powerful as he says, why didn't he end it on day one? Look, he's hyperbolic. The intent was that he would be able to get people to have a negotiated settlement day one. Didn't come about. We saw. I think one of the things first, he was never going to end at day one. It's a braggadocious statement. The fucking morons. There you go. Let's chalk them up. There's a fucking moron, stupid piece of shit. Here's a fucking moron, stupid piece of shit. Hyperbolic line. I bought a used car and they told me it would be the best car ever. I voted for this guy and he said it would be the best economy ever. That's outrageous. Also, the car sucks. No, it's a very good car. But he said best ever, and I believed him. Biden said he was going to cure cancer. Yes, that's right. Look, this stupid fucking idiot doesn't understand. He just disproved his own point. You think a used car dealership's giving you the best car ever? You must be really lost, bud. Yes, you fucking idiot. You sitting here, hey, I believe Trump could end the war in one day ever. I believed everyone was taking it literally. You fucking idiot. Yes, that's why I used that example. Yes. We could have the greatest government ever. Trump could be the best, and they'd be like, he didn't end the war day one. If they'd ended it day two, these stupid motherfuckers here would be like, he said day one. It took 2 days. That was twice as long. You fucking idiots. Yes, I'm aware that the President of the United States is more important than a used car dealer. The analogy was to show that people say things that are hyperbolic. They do it all the time when they're trying to sell you something. They do it all the time in politics. Trump felt that he would be able to negotiate a peace settlement, largely because of Democrats and their allies in the European Union. That hasn't been the case. He felt that he would be able to have a peace deal because he would be able to explain to Zelensky, listen, here's the deal. We're going to have this 3-step plan, but the first thing you need to know is we're not going to sign this in perpetuity. So we're going to begin negotiating a peace settlement immediately because we're going to stop sending you weapons if you disagree. Once you agree that that's something that's going to go on, then we'll move on to Russia and say, look, here's the deal. But we can't get through step one because Democrats and European leaders keep saying, nope, we're going to keep financing the war. We want Ukrainian men to continue to die in perpetuity. The president was being hyperbolic to get more votes. Biden said he would cure cancer. Every presidential candidate ever. Read my lips. No new taxes. If you like your plan, you can keep it. Every fucking president. I promise we're going to have the greatest economy ever. Actually, it wasn't the greatest ever. It was an amazing economy, but it wasn't the greatest ever. So you lied. My side lied. What did your side do? Why didn't your side... I noticed you deflected and gave a... Yeah, my side's the worst. Anyways, why didn't your side end the war if the United States is so powerful? Or were they just weaker under Biden? Is that the argument? Yep, my side lied. My side's the worst. Okay, now your side, they had control for the previous 4 years. Why didn't they end the Russian war? In fact, why did Russia invade while they were there? They could have ended it day one, right? They could have snapped their fingers. And they don't like Putin. So explain to me why your side allowed Ukrainian men to die for 4 years, or for ever since the invasion occurred. Can you explain? Yes? Or is it just going to be whataboutisms about Trump? Go ahead and run on the promise. I hope there's a peace deal in Ukraine. And let's leave Democrats run on. Yes, of course, we did nothing to accomplish peace in the entire time we were there. But Trump said day one, and it took him a year. Cool. Yep, go ahead, run on it. Of course, we said we'd cure cancer. We said that Trump colluded with Russia. We said that we would shut down the virus and not the country. We lied about all that. And our supporters that are on Rob's show right now didn't give a fuck. But wait a minute, you said the United States could stop the war anytime they wanted. That's what you said. So he didn't put the hardest position on Putin. Not by a long shot. He could have stopped at day one. That's what you said. He would be able to do it. That's how powerful the United States is. So why'd Biden allow it to occur? Why'd that happen? Why'd your guy allow all these people to die? You said Trump right now could stop it if he wanted. When I said how, war, you said no. He said he could stop at day one. Okay, that presumes Biden could have as well, unless you're admitting Biden's weaker than Trump, or that you were full of shit when you said that Trump could stop at any time he wants. Which one is it? Were you a liar when you said Trump could stop at any time he wants? Or are you admitting that Biden is much weaker than Trump? Which one is it? I wonder. You said Trump could stop the war. Okay, why couldn't Biden stop the war? Why couldn't Biden stop the war? If Trump could stop it, why couldn't Biden? No answer? Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. So anyways, for those people that aren't a bunch of fucking morons, this was always the way it was going to end. Inevitably, the United States and Europe would stop funding Ukraine, and that's how the war would end. Because then Ukraine would realize we can't do this on our own. Why was Biden in a weaker position? Why was Biden in a weaker position? Why? Explain it. I want you to explain to me why Biden was weaker than Trump. Explain. The reason that Russia is getting quote unquote concessions is they're winning. And Trump's like, yeah, we're not going to fund this forever. It's time to end it. Zelensky, you're going to have to give some shit up because you're losing. And you're about to lose harder because we're going to be done supporting you. Now, if you want to keep fighting without our support, God bless. Good luck to you. What does having a better relationship with Putin mean anything? Is that why Ukraine invaded during Biden? Because Putin respects Trump and wouldn't? Great. That sounds like a good thing. Uninterested with the perpetual neocon talk. Putin will always fight no matter what. Great, let him do it. When he invades one of our countries, we nuke him off the face of the earth. I'm tired of, trust me, Putin's just fucking Sauron. He'll attack always, forever, perpetually. Stupid, fucking absolute garbage, fucking idiot neocon bullshit. Perpetual war bullshit. Absolute fucking stupid World War III rhetoric horseshit. Ukraine is running out of men. If the United States stops funding Ukraine, they are fucked. Trump's base doesn't want the United States to fund Ukraine. So, Trump is trying to negotiate a peace settlement so we can stop funding Ukraine. If Ukraine does not accept that, what Trump should do and what he may do is say, fine, we're walking away. Good luck to you. Good luck. We wish you well. Beat those Ruskies on your own. Good luck. And then Ukraine is fucked. not interested in your neocon bullshit. Russia was sanctioned previously. The war continued. Your stupid fucking neocon takes mean nothing to me. I don't give a fuck with bloodthirsty warmongers like you that are more than happy to see the United States perpetually either one, lead to World War III by being more aggressive to Russia, or second, perpetually sending Ukrainian men to the meat grinder. I don't give a fuck. You seem to have a big passion for this. Did you know that Ukraine's taking volunteers? Sign the fuck up and go over there. You're in New Zealand. You're not that far away. Get your fucking ass over there. Grab a rifle. Good luck to you. No more American dollars. Fuck it. None. Fuck it. Your neocon asses that constantly want interventionism, go fucking fight. No one's stopping you. See you later. I don't give a fuck what some New Zealander wants to tell me why my tax dollars should continue to be sent to fucking Ukraine so Ukrainian men could die. Some fucking jackoff in New Zealand that could go over there and fight himself and put his fucking money where his mouth is. Fuck you. You are a warmonger, you Europe, you fucking piece of shit neocon. Fuck you. I'm so fucking tired of you big-hearted. We just need to fight Russia harder. Not me. Not my country. Not me. I ain't gonna do shit, but you Americans need to. Fuck you. Maybe the United States shouldn't have been fucking around in Syria. Maybe the United States shouldn't have been fucking around with the virus, with labs right outside Russia. Maybe they shouldn't have been constantly expanding NATO. Maybe they shouldn't have been involved with picking winners and losers in Ukraine in the fucking, after the Maidan Revolution. But no, you say that's all good. It was all good. Fuck Russia, they're evil. Keep fucking with them. Oh, they clap back. Wow, see, they're perpetually evil. You Americans go fight them. You Americans send your tax dollars. Not me in New Zealand. Yes, I'm aware that they're accepting volunteers. I'm refusing to go because I'm a neocon piece of shit, just like every other neocon piece of shit. Send other people to die in wars. Fuck you. No more talk. Get your ass over there. Send your fucking money. Send your body. Fuck you. I don't give a fuck that you're anti-Syrian, Libya, and Iraq war. Great. Now you found one you believe in. Why are you talking? Hop the first fucking plane. You want us to raise money for you for a plane ticket? Send your fucking ass over there. Happy to send you the money to get your ass over there. Right in the fucking front lines, too. Show them how it's done, big man. I was against all the things that were aggressive towards Russia, but now I say that we have to ignore all that because Russia will perpetually fight forever, and so now we have to do everything we can to stop Russia. Fuck you. How dare you tell me that my country needs to send more of my tax? By the way, wasn't there just a huge story broken about how much fucking money we send over to Ukraine was fraudulent? In the New York fucking Times of all places. Doesn't matter, says this New Zealander. Send more tax dollars. Fuck you. Hop the plane, big man. Just let me know if you need some money for the ticket. We'll happily send your ass over there. Wear a GoPro. Let us know how it goes. I say, stop funding all these wars. That's my opinion. You know what the issue is? Now I know what's going on. You know what it is? If you guys would just put more Ukrainian flags in your social media accounts, then it would all be solved. That's the problem. We haven't put enough Ukrainian flags in our social media accounts. That's what's going on. What kind of sanctions would you like to see? Explain the sanctions. We sanctioned Russia under Biden. Tell me the sanctions that you would like to see. Stop telling other countries what they should do. Go! Go fight, you pussy! Go! Stop telling my country what they should do. Get your fucking ass over there. Of course I care about those people dying. I love my family first and foremost. Do I care if someone gets killed 3 states over in the United States? Absolutely I do. And yet, nonetheless, I'm not going to go bankrupt funding some sort of gang war 3 states over so that family could get revenge, leading to more deaths. You don't give a fuck. If you gave a fuck about these people, you'd say, let's stop sending money so that they have to keep dying. Let's reject the president that caused the invasion, that allowed it to occur. Let's criticize the president that allowed it to escalate for years in Joe Biden. But you don't. You never gave a fuck. None of you people that were putting Ukrainian flags, you don't give a fuck. And as soon as the next conflict comes, you'll forget all about Ukraine. 5 years after this war, you're not going to look and go, holy fuck. Wow, those policies that I cheered for, continually sending money, an entire generation of young Ukrainian men wiped out. And now look at that. Companies like BlackRock swooping in to take all of their fucking valuables. You ain't going to give a fuck. You don't care. You didn't care about the people of Afghanistan. You didn't care about the people of Libya. You didn't care about the people of Syria. You don't give a fuck about the people of Ukraine. You don't give a fuck. You virtue signal because you think that makes you a good person. Send your fucking money. Open your check. You're on the internet right now. Why are you pissing that money away? Don't you know there's a genocide going on in Ukraine? Send your fucking money. No, sanctioning the oil will not stop Putin. The sanctions that already existed there, that we've seen that were placed on, hasn't done anything to stop. Sanctioning oil would not stop. Sorry, Mr. Foreign Policy Coward Pussy Jackass who has a fight channel. Sorry, man. Yeah, you have it all figured out. Let's give you a line to the White House. There you go. Hey, did you know all we have to do is sanction oil and that's it? War over tomorrow. Didn't you know? Some random fucking New Zealander with a fight channel. He knows. Yeah, all the other world leaders couldn't figure it out, but he got it. He knows how to end it. Yep. That's all it'll take. No negative consequences whatsoever. Holy fuck, man. Wow. Now that you've solved the Ukraine-Russia conflict, what you got next, Fight Sport Talk? You know, and if we just, I don't know, raise taxes 1%, it'd solve all world hunger. Wow, no shit, that simple, huh? Over and over and over, we hear aggressive policy against Russia. We should do an aggressive policy against Russia. That might bite us in the ass sometime. No. Aggressive policy towards Russia. That could bite us in the ass. It could be unintended. No. More aggressive policy towards Russia. And then every time it happens and it gets worse, they go, oh, this time listen to us. You know what we need? More aggressive policies towards Russia. Really? Because that didn't seem to work out. Yeah, it'll work this. Oh, it had the exact opposite effect. Wow, this time we should have more aggressive policies towards Russia. The United States has imposed multiple sanctions targeting Russian oil, both directly and indirectly, in response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Since March 2022, the United States has banned imports on Russian crude oil, petroleum products, liquefied natural gas, and coal into the United States under Executive Order 14066. In 2025, sanctions escalated significantly. January, OFAC designated major producers like Gazprom Neft and Surjanovgaz as specially designed nationals, SDN, sanctioned over 180 vessels in Russia's shadow fleet, and prohibited certain U.S. petroleum services to Russia. In October 2025, the U.S. designated Russia's two largest oil companies, Rosneft and Lukoil, along with its subsidiaries as SDNs, for operating in the energy sector, blocking their assets and prohibiting transactions with them. This affected a substantial portion of Russian oil exports and prompted short-term suspensions of purchase by buyers in China and India. These measures aim to reduce Russia's energy revenues while maintaining global oil supply through mechanisms like the G7 price cap on Russian oil. Additional threats of secondary sanctions on foreign entities dealing with sanctioned Russian oil firms have been issued, though enforcement varies. As of December 2025, no comprehensive global ban exists, but U.S. actions have disrupted significant portions of the Russian oil trade. You were saying, Fight Sport? More sanctions on their oil, right? So now what? We should refuse to trade with any other country that is buying Russian oil? It's not that it comes across as trolling. It comes across as you're a fucking know-it-all pussy that won't go over and fight the war that you want to continue. Fuck you. That's what it comes across as. I'm tired of you virtue-signaling neocon fucks. Go ahead, Fight Sports Talk. So we already have significant sanctions on Russian oil. How much more? Tell me what these sanctions should look like. You have the answers. Go ahead. Tell us what the answers are. You got it. Let's hear it. We already have sanctions on Russian oil. You said that's what it would be. So clearly you're saying that there need to be more sanctions. So give us the level of sanctions that would be necessary. Go ahead. As the sanctions have increased, I don't see Russia stopping. Fight Sport, tell us, what are the sanctions? Go ahead. You got the answers. Tell us what it is. What are the Russian oil sanctions that the United States needs to be doing? Trump's unwilling to do it. What is it? We're already accepting no Russian crude or natural gas in the United States. We've threatened other countries to not deal with Russia. So what are we doing? Sanction every country that's buying oil. I see. So the countries that rely on Russian oil, we should punish them. That won't have any unintended negative consequences, huh? China? We have sanctioned China as well? India? European countries? You see the big brain plan here? Why don't we just go to war with every country that wants to buy Russian oil? That'll fix Russia. Yes, I know. We already increased tariffs on European countries. Wasn't enough. Now, I had fun yelling at Fight Sport Talk, who actually thinks a decent guy. But it's fun entertainment. I stand by most of my criticisms, though. I don't think he's a pussy. I don't think he has to go fight in the war or anything like that. But he's an idiot. You're not trolling. Trolling would be that you're saying things that you don't believe. No one believes you're saying things you don't believe. I don't, at least. No, I don't think fully stopping any sort of trade with countries around the world that use Russian energy is the way to go. I think that's a big mistake. I think that'll piss off a lot of countries and it will accelerate them saying, we need to have an economic alliance without the United States. Because if they're willing to fuck with us, who have done nothing wrong so significantly to so damage our people, we no longer think that the United States is a reliable trade partner. We don't want to deal in dollars anymore. That's what will happen. It will accelerate the BRICS economic union. It will cause horrible pain in countries around the world that are relying on Russian oil and gas. We already see how it horribly harmed Germany when the United States or Ukraine blew up a pipeline, which is, by the way, as far as I'm concerned, an act of eco-terrorism, and blamed it on Russia. The same mentality is this. It's the European Union saying, well, we'll just take Russia's oligarchs' money and we'll send it to Ukraine. Well, let's see where that's going to go. And people like Fight Sports Talk, if this would lead to literally a world war, if all of a sudden China and India and a bunch of other countries and Russia would say, no, fuck you. We think that you're messing with us too much now. And if we find out that one missile you donated lands into any of our countries, it's war. Do you think for a second Fight Sports Talk go, oh, I fucked that up? Luckily, people like Fight Sports Talk over in New Zealand are not taken seriously. The Chicken Hawk neocon faction, fuck them. May they perpetually be out of power. The U.S. world police interventionism bullshit needs to stop. We continue with this story. A negotiated peace breaks the assumption that Russia will lose or that the war would go on indefinitely. Once the United States asserts that frozen Russian assets must be treated as part of the settlement framework rather than the permanent war financing, several consequences follow. The EU's legal justification weakens. The collateral underpinning those loans becomes unstable, and the long-standing claim that the asset freeze is temporary becomes difficult to sustain. This is not merely a diplomatic disagreement. It's a forced accounting event, one with potential implications for Euroclear, EU financial institutions, and member state balance sheets. Because it turns out they're stealing the fucking money. That's what's going on. They need to wash it somewhere. They need an excuse because they fucking stole it. And that's what's going on with huge sums of money that we're sending over to Ukraine. It's being stolen by people in Ukraine. It's being kicked back to people in these Western countries. And who's paying for it? The American tax dollar. Not our friend in New Zealand there. He ain't paying for it. This context helps explain recent developments in Brussels. Over the past days and weeks, EU leadership has moved rapidly to bypass vetoes, expand emergency authorities, and escalate rhetoric, including renewed NATO statements about preparing for a wider conflict. There you go. Pushing forward towards a bigger war. I'm sure that won't blow back. The underlying strategy appears straightforward. Treat frozen Russian assets as a de facto war chest. We have frozen, basically illegally, Russian assets, not of just Russian state assets, but also people who just are Russian. And now we're going to use their money to go to war with Russia. In practice, that step had already been taken through collateralization, even if formal seizure was avoided. President Trump is now explicitly challenging that structure. By calling this out, he undermines the final logic that sustained the war. Asset freezes repurposed as leverage, sanctions transformed into financing tools, permanent emergency governance, and debt-backed escalation. Without those mechanisms, the EU's war financing model becomes difficult to maintain. This also explains the visible urgency in European responses. If a settlement occurs, the assets must be unwound. The loans lose their effective backing. Legal exposure resurfaces, and the financial burden remains in Europe, not in Russia and not in the United States. In other words, if this negotiated settlement occurs and this money is part of it, then all of a sudden, Europe, who spent this fucking money, now owes it to Russia. It's not Russia that's out money. It's not the United States. It's Europe. That is not primarily a geopolitical issue. It's a financial stability issue. Ukraine was never only a battlefield. It functioned as a pressure point with a broader post-1971 Atlantic financial system that relies on sanctions, asset control, and emergency authorities to remain coherent. By forcing the asset question into the open, Trump has touched that pressure point, and the system's beginning to strain. Ending the war does more than stopping the fighting. It forces Europe to confront how frozen sovereign assets were already used, and what happens when a war-based financing model is interrupted by peace. That is why peace has become more destabilizing to the EU than full-scale war. In short, loan structures backed by frozen assets may have to be unwound, legal exposure clarified, and financial responsibility absorbed internally rather than deferred through emergency measures. What was framed as temporary leverage during wartime becomes a permanent liability in peacetime. The risk for the EU is not diplomatic embarrassment, but potential financial and institutional collapse. This is an analysis I wrote yesterday on the implications of the frozen Russian assets. I don't know if it's behind a paywall or not. He continues. Is Europe unintentionally helping Russia win? Donald Trump's push for an early negotiated peace between Ukraine and Russia represents a direct existential threat to the European Union as it's currently constituted. Peace, real peace, not a frozen conflict, would have collapsed the EU's financial, political, and strategic narrative overnight. Probably a reason that our friend Fight Sport Talk is so against it. What is unfolding in Europe reads less like miscalculation and more like controlled demolition operation. The freezing and now effective seizure of Russian-linked assets at Euroclear is not simply a sanction gone too far. It is a deliberate trigger in a broader effort to collapse the European Union's existing financial architecture, and with it, the London-centered banking cartel that has dominated global capital flows for a decade. That process accelerates the moment Donald Trump removes the United States as the EU's financial backstop. Trump's decision to defund and condition U.S. support for Ukraine did not merely pressure Kyiv. More importantly, his insistence on pursuing a negotiated settlement between Ukraine and Russia threatened to end the war on terms that would devastate European interest. It forced Europe to confront a war it could not afford and a system it could no longer sustain. Without Washington underwriting the conflict, Brussels faced a stark choice: accept a negotiated peace and financial reckoning, or prolong the war long enough to extract what value it could from the system before it collapsed. Europe chose the latter. The Russian assets frozen in 2022 were never meant to be spent. They were never supposed to survive a peace deal. They were leverage, political theater designed to signal resolve while assuming eventual American rescue. But when Trump pulled the plug, those frozen funds became the only available war chest. The moment Europe reached for them, the collapse became inevitable. This is where intent matters. By bypassing unanimity requirements and overriding Hungary's veto, the EU openly abandoned the legal structure that legitimized its authority. That was not a bureaucratic oversight. It was a calculated move out of desperation that exposes and exhausts the system. Viktor Orban's alignment with Trump, followed closely by Italy's assertion of sovereign control over its gold reserves, created a fault line Brussels could not bridge without force. Rather than compromise, the EU centralized. That choice signals something deeper. The EU leadership understands the structure cannot survive intact. The objective is no longer preservation, it is containment and extraction. The London banking nexus, Euroclear, the City of London, and their satellite institutions sit at the center of this implosion. These entities thrived on trust. Trust in the rule of law, trust in custodial neutrality, trust that the capital held in Europe would remain sacrosanct. Once private and sovereign assets can be seized by political decree, trust evaporates. Capital flight is not a risk. It is the plan of the Trump global chess game of remove the head of the Hydra. By forcing funds out of Europe, the old system sheds liability it can no longer honor. Losses are socialized. Pensions, public balance sheets, and peripheral economies absorb damage while insiders reposition. This is how financial empires end, not with the collapse from below, but with evacuation from above. Trump's role is central to the outcome. That role is not improvised, it's codified. In other words, what it's suggesting here is not only has the money been spent, which is going to be a huge problem that'll be exposed, but this will lose all trust and faith in these forms of banking. And Europe will no longer be a place where the international community or international businessmen will be willing to put their money. Because they will know, as I said, that just like that, Europe could say, we're going to take your fucking money and spend it ourselves. Why would you put money in a bank that through no fault of your own could say, we think you're from an area we don't like, that we blame for shit, so now we get to take your money? If you're some billionaire, you're like, no thanks, I'm not going to put money there. Nope, we're going to go elsewhere. Continuing. Trump's national security strategy explicitly rejects the post-Cold War assumption that supranational institutions are stabilizing forces. Instead, it reframes transnational governance structures as sources of instability, corruption, and perpetual conflict. The strategy emphasizes sovereign nations, bilateral diplomacy, and regional self-responsibility, particularly in Europe. In practical terms, this means the United States will no longer underwrite systems that erode sovereignty while exporting cost and instability back to the American public. Yes, we're tired of financing color revolutions and all of this shit like Libya that NATO attacked, and then having the American public pay for it. By refusing to subsidize Europe's war and by signaling support for sovereign national realignments, positions articulated directly in his national security strategy, Trump removed the illusion that the EU could continue as a protected transnational project. His posture gave cover to leaders like Orban and Meloni to break ranks without fear of U.S. retaliation. Once Italy makes their move, the tripod will collapse. Germany, France, and Italy form the structural base of the EU. Remove one leg, the system can't stand. Trump's actions did not cause that weakness, they exposed it. The seizure of Russia-linked assets accelerates the endgame. It destroys the euro's credibility as a reserve currency, discredits European financial custodianship, and signals to the world that Europe has chosen coercion over stability. That choice is irreversible. From Moscow's perspective, the outcome is perversely advantageous. Offshore capital, once capable of destabilizing Russia, has been neutralized. The West's financial weapon has detonated inside its own house. Russia adapts. Europe fractures. By the way, this is what more sanctions would do. This is why the conflict increasingly resembles something other than a proxy war. Under Trump's national security strategy, Europe is expected to stand on its own feet, militarily, financially, and politically. The document explicitly calls for enabling Europe to take primary responsibility for its own defense while cultivating resistance within European nations to the EU's current trajectory. Peace in Ukraine, under this framework, is not a concession to Russia. It is a mechanism to dismantle a system that relies on a permanent crisis to justify its own existence. It is a managed retreat from a failed transnational system. Trump did not dismantle the European Union. He simply refused to keep paying for it. Once the money stopped, the rules stopped mattering. Once the rules stopped mattering, the end was guaranteed. Wars follow money, always. And when money is used to break a system rather than save it, the collapse is not a mistake, it's the objective. The European Union is not being weakened by Russia, it's being liquidated by design. And then there was one other thing I wanted to show on this. Here's Orban talking about this from Hungary.
A délután bejelentette a bizottság elnök asszony, hogy meghátrált a bizottság, és az orosz vagyon kérdését asztalra sem teszik. Tehát a tegnap esti háttér tárgyalások azok meg küzdelmek, azok eredményre vezettek, és úgy látom, ha jól értem, amit ma a bizottság elnök asszony mondott, és azt hiszem, hogy jól értem, azt mondta, hogy az orosz vagyont nem teszik föl a tárgyalóasztalra a holnapi nap során.
Clearly, Hungary vehemently against this, and if they change the rules so that they don't have to listen to Hungary's veto, that also will destabilize the European Union. Here's what he had to say previously.
Magyarországot kikerülve, megerőszakolva nyílt utcán fényes nappal az európai jogszabályokat, Magyarországot kikerülve nyúlnak hozzá az orosz vagyonhoz, ez egy hadüzenet. Tehát az orosz vagyon, a befagyasztott orosz vagyonhoz való hozzápiszkálás, annak az eltulajdonítása, az egy hadüzenet. Olyat még sose láttam, hogy 200-300 milliárd eurónyi pénz elvétele egy országtól ne váltott volna ki valamilyen válaszlépéseket. Olyan nincs. Igazából 3 német viszi itt a primet, és ők vezetik vakvágányra szerintem, vagy viszik a falnak az uniót. A német kancellár, az Európai Parlament legnagyobb frakcióvezetője Weber úr, és Ursula von der Leyen, aki a bizottság elnökasszonya. És ők úgy gondolkodnak, hogy hát vagy megvan az orosz pénz, vagy nincs. És vagy véget ér a háború, vagy nem. És ha nem ér véget, akkor majd még kell pénz. Van az orosz pénz, És van a másik lehetőség, hogy a tagállamoktól gyűjtenek össze pénzeket. 135 milliárd eurót kér egyébként a 27 tagállamtól, bizottság elnökasszonya. Nagyszerű ajánlat, de mi ebben nem kívánunk. Inkább a többieknek átengedjük ezt a remek.
By the way, Orban correct to say this is basically an act of war if they do this against Russia. What do you think it would be if we do like Fight Sports Talk? Say we refuse to trade with any country that accepts any sort of Russian oil. That too would be an act of war. That's what it would be. Of course, all in the name of helping Ukraine, right? Hey, kicking off hopefully just a Cold War, a global financial war. Great. Says the New Zealander that won't care that his way of life won't be affected, unlike us Americans. There you have it. Simple, easy peasy. Just threaten the entire world that they can't do business with Russia in any way, shape, or form, or we will no longer do business with them, and we'll punish them. Make sense? I think the act of war was declared when NATO invaded Libya. I think the act of war was declared when the United States and the Western world invaded Syria, Russia's ally. Then why aren't we at war? Boots on the ground, right? This childish stupidity, one-sided way of viewing things will lead us to World War III, the classic neocon trope. We're always the good guys, they're always the bad guys, therefore we're justified in doing whatever we want. And if that means sanctioning the entire world that will rely on cheap Russian gas, so be it, worth it. And when they say, hey, we don't like this, we'll say, actually, the act of war was Russia invading Crimea. And India will say, right, what the fuck does that have to do with us? Didn't you hear this guy from New Zealand? He said the real act of war was Russia invading Crimea, so shut the fuck up, India, and China, and Hungary, and any other country. Didn't you hear the snarky response? Hey, we don't think that you should be taking assets like this, says the president of Ukraine, or of Hungary. We think this is a fucking act of war. We think that there's going to be retaliation, probably from Russia and other countries. Actually, the act of war was Crimea. Oh! Fight Sports Talk, why don't you call Orban? He probably doesn't know that. He'd be like, no shit. Oh, yeah, take the assets then. My bad. Let's sanction every country in the world that trades with Russia. My bad, I didn't know. Some random guy from New Zealand that has a fight show, he knew? My bad. Don't worry. Just like, no, I'm against every other neocon war. Just this one. Russia's like the fucking Sauron. They did everything evil. Do you have anything to say about the Jewish folk after this? I guess it's refreshing not to hear the J spurging for a day. It's just Russia always the unique evil. How about the United States and NATO's expansion? How about their involvement in places like Libya? How about their involvement in some places like Syria? How about Russia not wanting to be encircled as NATO continues to expand westward over and over again? How about that? How about nuclear weapons being placed closer and closer to the border of Russia? Would the United States accept that? We don't have to ask. We already saw it in the Cuban Missile Crisis. Fight Sports Talk. I don't give a fuck. But I was against all the other ones. Just this one time, please. I don't give a shit. Your neocon bullshit means nothing here. Nothing. You're probably a decent guy in real life. Great. You're a neocon piece of shit that wants people to die. Or at least that is so fucking stupid that you're advocating for policies that's going to lead to large swaths of people dying. I don't want World War III. I don't want it. I don't want my country, for the people of here, to continue to finance these perpetual wars. I don't want that. I don't want my country to go down with the ship by basically declaring economic world on the entire world so that you can feel good about beating those pesky Ruskies. I don't give a shit about your Cold War mentality. I don't care. Tired of it. The same people that will be brokering the very policies that you want are the same ones that you say you disagreed with every one of their decisions. I was against Libya. I was against Iraq. I was against Syria. I was against Afghanistan. But I think I trust those same people to do it here. Okay, what are they going to do? They're going to declare financial war on the entire world. Anyone that trades any oil with Russia completely shut out of U.S. markets. I trust them. This time they'll do it right. Sanction their oil. Yeah, we did that. We went a huge way to sanctioning it. It didn't do anything. It made things worse. Sanction more. Okay. I don't know. I'm getting too fired up. Fight Sport's a good guy. I don't think he's a piece of shit. Came in at the wrong time. Maybe I need to fucking calm down a little. Maybe I yell a little too much. But I'm so over it. Every day, more fucking Ukrainians die. Every fucking day. Every day. And no one gives a fuck. None of these people care. But Russia's evil. Let's sanction them. Okay, we did that. Now what? Let's sanction them more. Okay, we did that. Let's sanction them more. Okay, we did that. Let's sanction more. You can clip. I don't give a shit. That's perfectly fine. Clip it and send it to your neocon buddies. I was a good little neocon. I said to keep the war going. Let's declare financial war on the world. I did it. You go right ahead. You did it. But of course, you can clip. As long as the only thing I think that this is reasonable with anything, as long as you're trying to add shit to the clip, right? Like if someone just clips your channel every day and never adds anything, that's one thing. But especially if you're involved in the conversation, of course. When you say we need to dominate the entire globe, who do you mean, Wills? The same intel agencies that are trying to take out Donald Trump, them? That want to censor us back home? Or do you mean like you? I don't know what you mean by we. Like BlackRock, Halliburton, Raytheon, Northrop Grumman? Them? The CIA? United States? Yeah, no thanks. No, thank you. All right. It's cathartic to yell at people. I feel good. Even if they don't always deserve it. Super chats. Wicked Wally, $5 says, let's play robnoerr Mad Libs. The blank to a blank and blank is very blank and no one is blank the blank. Good luck. Islamic. Am I the only one that thinks eventually we'll be arrested by men in blue UN helmets if we don't assimilate? As long as we take down those evil Russians, right? Because Race Car, $10 says, the UN is right. You can't be in any more than that you are right now. The is undone. Another mushroom cloud. Another smoking gun. The threat is real. The Locust King has come. Megadeth called this in 2007. What? Peace sells. Who's buying? Bat Fricker, $10 says, I've seen videos of Ukrainians allegedly stopping man stealers permanently. There's definitely a vid. As to its authenticity, I can't say, but it makes sense, yeah? Xander Geese, thanks so much. $5 says, most Ukrainian flags posted were by bots or someone that could not locate it on a map, yeah? Because Racecar, $5 says, I love how these R slurs are so good at spending other people's money. Of course. The neocon socialist, baby. Spend. Sandergeese, $20 says, Rob, you going to be at Word War? I'm flying out from Cali. Want to meet the truth in person? I will be at Word War. Yes, absolutely. I am the official debate architect. So I'll be making sure that all things connected to the debate run smoothly. So yes, I will be out there January 9th and January 10th. I will be busy, but I will have time to meet and hang out with folks as well. Particularly if you're in the VIP room, I'll be up there. Blasterbot, $5 says, if only 12 more people posted the Ukrainian flag in their bio, none of this would have happened. So sad. We just need one more sanction. That would end it all. Jabroni Big Time, $5 says, I support the current thing. Yes. Because Racecar, $2 says, I support toilet paper diversity. Yes. Fight Sport Talk after I'm yelling at him. Here's the outreach goal. CS Neokins aren't all that bad. I feel dirty taking that money, but thank you. Make Australia great again. $2 says, hi to you, Rob, and all the normies. God bless. God bless you. Thank you. And John Peart, 14 months. It's flown by, my friend. Vegemite will save us all. Oh, gosh. Vegemite. I've had it one time in my life. Patty the Batty. He'll probably lose, but I'm cheering for him. I'm not very knowledgeable in MMA, so I don't really have a take on why I think one side will win. But I'll cheer for Patty. Apologies to Fight Sports Talk for real. Sometimes I just get on a roll and start yelling. I think it's a really stupid plan. I don't think we should sanction the entire world to try to stop Russia. No, buddy, you clip away, for real. If you're the type of person asking if you could clip, the answer is going to be yes. There are people, just so people know, it's not just me. There are people that's entire channels are just playing other people's videos. That, I would probably say, hey, come on now, what's that? But that's clearly not what most of the people are doing. They're like, hey, you mind if I clip that? Oh, yeah, no problem, Dan Goldstein. Now, we're still not to our super chat goal. Look at that, I'm yelling for y'all. Getting all fired up. Yelling at these mofos. Truth be told, if I'm addressing this topic in a not trying to be a little hyperbolic for the sake of funness, I don't think more sanctions is going to help. I think it'll exacerbate the problem, as I was saying. And I think that you can see the problem. You're going to have to just keep escalating. Well, we're not going to take oil. Okay. Well, our European Union allies aren't going to take oil. Okay. Well, now we're going to force other countries not to take oil. And each time there's unintended consequences, and it doesn't do the thing that we were told it was going to do. We just don't see it. The better thing to do is say, we're going to stop funding Ukraine and let the war end. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to stop being interventionist and expanding NATO into the region. Wills, thanks so much for the $10. But I'm not a fan of Russia. I'm not. And I understand that people are like, fuck Russia. I get it. And it feels bad. It feels like you're letting the bad guy win. I get it. That I understand. Dan Goldstein, $2 says I'm louder, but far cheaper than Fight Sports Talk. Fight Sports Talk probably has a much better take on the Patty fight than me. That's sort of his job. He's talking about fights. Me, I'm sort of a novice. Yeah, well, I'm not exactly a fan of the fucking Venezuela thing either, if I'm honest. But it's 12:49. How's Russia the bad guy? I mean, they did invade Crimea. They may have had reason, but they did. You're muted.
Fuck. There are whip songs.
Yeah, I know. I'm not leaving quite yet.
Well, you were looking at the time.
Yeah. I was just trying to see if I could do another story. I probably won't. The other story I was going to talk about was the Econ data, but I did cover that. Hey, here's the story. Inflation number very good, 2.7. far below what people suspected. Doesn't mean that we're out of the blue when it comes to sort of economic woes, but Democrats having a tough time. Now they're going to say, they said that Trump was withholding the data because it was bad. Now they're saying the data is clearly fake.
Oh,
you know,
there we go. There's the
weight
jump
loss,
goal.
$50. Gosh, whip wheel time. Thank you. Did we get the goal there? Was that? Oh wow, look at that. All right. Go. How about we sanction all these stupid fucking whip songs? How about that? Let's do that. How's that for a sanction? Maybe that's why Russia continues the war. They're tired of these damn whip songs. All right, we'll get to them in a minute. We will, I promise. We owe 3. Yes, 3 of these stupid ass songs. First off, thank you so much to Andrew for calling in, and thank you everyone's watching. My goodness, 400 people watching, and I didn't have a rage. You guys are the best. We like to go at least 2.5 to 3 hours every night talking about serious political stuff before we dick around a little and have some fun. Now, tomorrow, I will be streaming at 10 p.m. Eastern time, and I'll probably go over to Verbal Combat on Speakeasy's channel and wreck some fools at whatever the topic of the day is that they're debating over there. Weekend, I haven't decided yet. I'll probably be streaming somewhat. Also, you want to tune in tomorrow because I'll have exciting stories to talk about. My son going to visit Santa Claus, going to the Christmas store. So I'm sure. Now, normally when we take him out to this place, we go on a weekday. But because of his school now, we're going Friday, and it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be packed with kids. So, yeah. But it's still going to be a blast. Make Australia great again. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So, I hope you enjoyed. I am going to do what my mods always tell me not to do. And I'm going to recommend, if you're the type of person that doesn't like hearing annoying songs, another channel that you could head to. Let me see.
I don't think we all like this. We just like to see it tank on its own.
We got
I see Marte on.
Marte?
That's the only one I see on, to be honest.
My friend only Mr. Bill's on. He's good.
Oh, I don't have Mr. Bill. We can follow Mr. Bill.
Let's do Mr. Bill tonight.
Okay.
He's a good guy. He does this crazy Antifa character.
You see no objection from me?
No. We ain't leaving yet, though. How do you say, I always fuck that up. Say that last name.
Gaith?
I think it's Gosh. Fuck.
Gaithia?
I don't know. Speaking of Gaithia, let's play some whip songs. Oh, where's it at? Now it's not even showing up my for crying out loud. There it is.
Gaethje.
Gaethje. Yeah. Well, let's play some Gaethje whip songs here. I'm not going to pick on that dude's name because he could literally beat my soul out of my body. So,
come on.
We got 3 of these stupid shit. Remember, if you $100, you can pick whatever song you want. $50, we'll spin this wheel. Thank you, everyone that stuck around that thinks this shit's stupid and are leaving. I appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night. All right. Alt Indie Beat Dogs. Oh, yeah, it sounds like a winner.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't wanna go to war today, but the Lord of the Lashes, nay, 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 we're gonna march all day, all day, all day. gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and move.
Yay! I love it.
We are the slaves of the dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. There's a whip, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, way.
We dance. Look, maybe there are more donos will increase my spirit. Are we not, men?
I've never been a good dancer. I got a head bob. That's more than usual. Get out of me.
Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, day. Where there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, way.
Ah, shit. Wait till you see this. Our good friend Andrew. Ah, shit. This is great.
You're always looking through X. It's got to be. I see it.
Oh, this
1
is
hour
great.
ago at the house.
Yeah. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. So.
Oh, my goodness. This is great. Here we go.
Is there volume?
No, it's just a gift. Ah, shit, that's great. Oh, it's good stuff. Whew.
Oh my god.
Good stuff. All right, more stupid wheel stuff. Here we go. Number 2. Remember, $50.
This is how we know you're not giving it all to the wheel, Rob, while you're looking at X.
Yes, that's
while we're
right. I'm
sitting here.
cheating. Yes, you're absolutely
You
right. I'm
dirty
cheating.
little cheater.
I am cheating. That's right. Oh, for crying. 50s rocks, not bad. Here we go. EDM.
50 Rock always gets you flagged.
That's right, it does.
He's like, yeah, motherfucker. Pay me.
Please be over soon.
Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a
Sweet Lord, let me never hear that song again.
JS wants to know if you talked about the weed reclassification.
Yeah, a little. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it. I support it, I think. I really do. I think it makes sense politically. I'm tired of people abusing marijuana, but from an objective standpoint, I don't want to criminalize everything that's bad for people. And weed, scheduled as, serious as it was, seems to be something that shouldn't be done. Having said that, I wish that we would spend more money propagandizing against weed because it's fucking terrible. But
He also said this song is trash. I'm
And
gonna
it was a
believe him
trash song.
because he's a homeless guy, so he knows what trash is.
Yes. Now this one, it's a little more in my. I don't like any of these, but this one's.
I don't like any of these. You say.
Yes. Here
Are
we
you
go.
sure? I think you enjoyed Disney.
Yeah, I know you enjoy the Disney.
I think you enjoyed the Disney.
Where there's a whip, there's a whip. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. We don't want to go to war today, but the Lord of the Land says nay, nay, nay. We're gonna march all day, all day, all day. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and more, for we are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. 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 Left there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right. A crack on the back says we're gonna fight, we're gonna march all day and night and more. We are the slaves of the Dark Lord's war. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Where there's a whip, there's a way. Where there's a
Perfect.
We did it. We did it.
Did it.
Hey, let me ask you a question because someone mentioned this to me. What were you saying about Rakita earlier? Nick Rakita? Did you say something about him?
No.
No? Oh. I must have been misinformed. I'm not grilling you or anything. Someone just said, someone reached out to me and was like, hey, I saw what Avarice was saying about Rakita, and he's right. And I was like, oh, what did Avarice say about Rakita?
Which was Nick Rakita?
Let me double check my message. Maybe he got the wrong name.
I maybe I don't. I've only debated a Muslim recently. That's the only thing I can think of. Razima, no. I agree.
It specifically says Nick Rakita
on the Andrew dog pile in a stream recently.
Maybe you know what it was. Maybe it was someone not you. Maybe he screwed up your name, the person. Anyways,
or unless this, maybe it was somebody in maybe it was somebody in a panel. I literally don't. You know me names.
I just wondered. I'm not trying. I just was like, oh, that's weird. I didn't hear Avarice say anything, so I was like, maybe you were on a panel like, and fuck Nick Rakita. I didn't know. I was just like, oh, I should ask Avarice. I don't know.
I mean, I go on. So when you don't go on panels, when I line up for you to get on one, just in case, right? I'll just go in your place, right? Just that's the only one. And the recent one was a Muslim, and I think I told you about that. He said it was more vile for me to kiss my wife in public than him having sex with his cousin. Yeah. So, I did go on Cooley. No, but I didn't say anything on Cooley. I just said hi to Cooley. That was it.
Well, nonetheless, I don't know. I think it's a good place to wrap up tonight. It's 1:08 in the AM. We achieved our goal. We crushed those day shift pieces of shit. Those losers. Those fucking losers. No, I'm just, the day shift, they suck.
I went on Cooley. I didn't realize how high def it was, and I had the robnoerr sweatshirt on, and I had baby spit right here. I didn't realize it, and I was like, oh, shit. Very nice. That was pleasant. I had to switch the sweatshirt, so.
Well, I think we had a good show tonight. It was nice that Andrew called in. The whip shit, like, it's nice. People donate. People like Wade Boggs keep the show running. Wade, you're the best. And I do appreciate it. Oh, a couple super chats I missed. Make Australia great again. Thanks for being a member. And now Jet sends in $5. Thank you. Really, I do appreciate it. I do. But it is funny how, like, fucking, it's like, 140 people leave. See you later. See ya. But that's all right. Those people weren't donating anyways. I'm trying to find a happy medium here.
Avarice got bodied in a Goku versus Vegeta defeat.
Shit. So,
the
tomorrow,
types of debates they have to go at me against is just the hilarious prompts you have to take.
I have tomorrow. I'll be not doing the day stream. I will be doing the evening stream. We'll probably go over to Speakeasies, join the debate panel over there. Yeah, Wade's like, see, you're getting it. Yes, Wade is very generous. And if tormenting me, it's bullshit. Look at this. Unbelievable. Our man, HAC. What a legend. All right, Wade, leaving you. New metal whip song.
He's like, I'm at work. What else do you want me to do?
This one, to be fair, is of all of them, probably in my top 5. It's pretty good. All right, here we go. Thank you, HAC. Absolute legend.
Well, there's a way. There's a way. Well, there's a way. There's a way. Well, there's a whip. Well, there's a way. Well, there's a whip. There's a way, but there's a whip. There's a way, but there's a whip. Why left? Right. Well, there's a whip. There's a way. Well, there's a whip.
AJC, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope all of you enjoyed it. Now, if there's no more donos coming in, we're going to raid over to Mr. Bill. Please give him a sub and a like while you're over there. He's a good guy. He's like an old curmudgeon like me. Maybe a little older, maybe a little less curmudgeon-y, but he's a good guy. So please consider throwing him a like, throwing him a sub. They're free. Help a brother out and stick around and listen. I think he's a good guy. Tomorrow, okay.
Well, good news too for the audience is that we did lock in Cool. So Cool V1C will come over to the Rob Noor.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
We are aiming right after the holidays, so right at the beginning of the new year.
Should be good. I also have I'll talk to you about it tomorrow, Everest, but I think I've worked something out. It's a project I've been thinking about for a long time, and I think I found the right person to help me out with it. So I'll talk to you about that later, but I think it's going to work well. I haven't got a confirmation, but I know I'll get it. And let's just say
well, that's why I didn't say the other ones I'm working on right now.
Right.
You know a few of the other, but
yes.
I did lock in and I got confirmation with Cool LV1C, so he'll be on over.
Make sure you get your tickets to Word War Debate. I'm going to be there. There's going to be some more announcements coming. I promise you very, very, very soon. The card should be fully announced by the end of next week, I think, unless something unforeseen occurs. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to enjoy being there. I'm going to be doing a lot of things behind the scenes for this first event. So hopefully you all will enjoy it. Avarice, thank you so much for being here tonight. Man. Always a pleasure.
I'll see you all tomorrow right here at Normal America.
Thank you, man. 10 p.m. tomorrow evening. I'll be here after I do my... Oh, look at this. Crucible Crusader gets 5 memberships. What an absolute Chad. So tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, a little earlier than that perhaps, I'll tell you all about my fun Christmas adventure with my family, and then we'll do some debating. Should be fun. But I do have projects that I'm working on. So you'll see. They'll be coming out soon, in addition to things like Word War. And you know that the Crucible is going to have some more stuff coming up. It's the end of the year, the holidays, sort of a relaxation time, spending time with family. And we're going to hit the ground running in the new year. So 10 o'clock tomorrow night. Be there. Thank you so much to all of my mods, Achilles, Naughty Germ, Zen's Forehead, EOD, Are We Not Men? Thank you all so much. I appreciate you all. Thank you to Avarice. Thank you to Black Elk, the best editor in the game, an absolute gentleman and a scholar who is doing great things. Incidentally, check out the YouTube page, the videos that are put up, not the live stream, but the videos. Check them out. Also, Rumble Donos, Dirty Sippy Cup says, now that's what I call whip, volume 69420P3N15. That says penis. Thank you so much, Dirty Sippy Cup. MT Alex, $5 says, never knew this was a deal. The original version of this song has been in my head since 1981. Bam! Yeah, well, tune in. We play a lot of them. Thanks to everyone who donated. Thank you to everyone who chatted, even the people I was yelling at. I'm a piece of shit. Sometimes I get it where I'm just like, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. It's good entertainment. I hope you all appreciate it, but I don't dislike, especially Fight Sport Talk, but even the other people, I don't. I think Fight Sport's a good dude. We vehemently disagree on this topic, but maybe I fly off the handle a little too much for performative reasons, and just because it's what makes this is my therapy. Just yelling at people in the chat that I disagree with. It feels nice. But he could take it. Fight Sport's a good guy. He could take it. Enjoy this raid of Mr. Bill. As we leave, please just take 1 minute while we show this outro. Just 1 minute to think about the life of Charlie Kirk. America Fest going on right now. There were some speeches. I saw Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro. Never forget the impact he had in this country, particularly with young men, with politics. Now he was taken from us and mocked, and then his wife mocked by so many of these people on the left. God bless you, Charlie, and God bless your family. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy the raid of Mr. Bill. We'll talk to you all soon. As always, have a good one.
Only in America is it possible to say, you know what, I don't like the way the country is going. and to do something about it. Take that risk. Take that leap of faith. Stay involved. Trust God and act obediently. Romans 12:2 verse. That God will use all things for good for those who love him. It's bigger than you. I want you to remember that. It is bigger than you. It's bigger than me. You are here to make somebody else's life better, the pursuit of liberty and freedom. You know what gives me strength? The hundreds of thousands of you that say, Charlie, keep going.
1 Corinthians 5 and 15. So that's all pretty amazing evidence, not just intra-biblical evidence, but extra-biblical evidence that Jesus Christ was a real person. He lived a perfect life. He was crucified, died, and rose on the third day, and he is Lord and God of all.